Hello, I'm Ruben West, and I'm excited to be here on this Change the World Summit. Now, here's what I know. In order to change the world, we have to start with ourselves first. And so I want to talk to you about that change. I want to ask you a question. I want you to think about a time where there was some kind of change you wanted to make, some kind of adjustment that you wanted to make, and then for some reason you didn't take action. I believe we've all done that, and I know that I've been guilty of that very same thing. And so I want to talk to you today about living your best life. Listen to this quote from Chuck Palahniuk. He said, "If you knew that your life was merely a phase, a short segment of your entire existence, what would you do? How would you live knowing that nothing real was at risk?" He said, "You'd live a gigantic, bold, fun, dazzling life. You know you would." That's what the ghosts want us to do. All of the existing things that they can no longer do. And I believe when he said a gigantic, bold, fun, dazzling life, I believe he was talking about living your best life. But then the question becomes, what keeps us from doing that? What keeps us from living our best lives? We all know that there's things that we want to go after. Some of us want to improve our education. Some of us are on a mission in 2014 to improve our health. Some of us want to improve our wealth. We're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, and we're looking for a change. Some of us want to do it to help other people. We all have a change. But what is it that keeps us from the gigantic, bold, fun, dazzling life? Well, I believe it's four things that run with those four things. And that's fear, uncertainty, self-doubt, and extra hard work. Fear, uncertainty, self-doubt, and extra hard work. See, we get these ideas in our mind, we want it, but we don't take the action, and then 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years later, we find someone else that got that very same result that we were looking for because they took action. And so we have to make up in our mind while we're listening to this Change the World Summit that whatever it is that's going to be required for us to do, we are going to do it. I want you to think about this. Imagine being in the arena at the MGM Grand. The date is November 5th, 1994. And you're with tens of thousands of people. After you hear the crowds go wild, and then the music starts. And you see coming out of the tunnel, George Foreman. George Foreman, who was beat in Zaire by Muhammad Ali in 1974 and lost his championship. And here he is now at the age of 45, attempting to be the oldest fighter to ever win the championship. And while he's walking into the ring, there's some people that are simply laughing that this can't be, this is ridiculous. What does he think he's doing? He could get killed in there, but he's going for something. He's going for a gigantic, bold, fun, dazzling life. He's going to live his best life. And that's what we have to commit to doing. That it doesn't matter how old we are. It doesn't matter that we've been knocked out of the ring of life. It doesn't matter that we've been knocked down. The question is, are we willing to get back up and get back into the arena of life? George feels like he has a calling on his life to be the heavyweight champion, and he's stepping in there to answer the call. And now he's facing Michael Moore, a man that's 25 years old, the current champion. He has youth, he has agility, he has ability. And he's looking across the ring thinking, there's no way that this man can take my title, that this belongs to me. And that at some times you have to realize that it's just going to come down to a fight. That in order to live the life that you want to live, in order to live your best life, it's going to come down to a fight. And that's exactly what it came down to for George. That he realized that no one is going to hand him the title back. Very few people even give him a chance to win again. That he's been out of it too long. He was retired for 10 years. He set it aside. They said, no one has come back like that and been able to do this. What is it that makes you think you can do it? But there was something in him that was driving him to take action. And this is what I'm going to tell you. That if you're going to have the life that you want, if you're going to live your best life, there has to be something down within you that's driving you to get what you want. And what's going to happen is on your way to get what you want, on your way to the success that you're looking for, you're going to meet some roadblocks. There's going to be some times that you have to stop. There's going to be some traffic jams that slow you down. I know personally. As a matter of fact, I remember 2 years ago, I was going to my daughter's swim meet, and I was driving from Bloomington, Illinois to Leavenworth, Kansas. Her swim meet was on the military base. And so as I pulled up to the base, I got my ID out. I know how this works. I've been through this routine before. And I hand my ID to the guy. And he checks my ID, but he also says, I need you to open the hood. I need you to open the trunk, open the doors, and step out of the car. And I said, sir, I don't know if you know it or not, but I've just come all the way from Bloomington, Illinois. My daughter is in there, and the swim meet has already started. And if I don't get in there soon, I may miss it. And he said, that doesn't make a difference, sir. Everybody has to go through this. And so he made me get out of the car. And they looked in my engine, and I'm thinking, what is it that they're looking for? I just want to go look at this swim meet. And then they look within the car. And then they look in the trunk. And I'm thinking I am done. I went to reach for my ID. He said, hold on. And then the other guy took a mirror and walked around the car, underneath the car, and he was checking the undersurface of the vehicle. And I'm saying, this is ridiculous. I've been slowed down by traffic jams. I'm running behind. I just need to get on my way. And after they gave me a thorough checking over, he handed me my ID back. And he said, sir, you can close up your vehicle and you're free to go. And so as quickly as I can, I shut the hood, I shut the back doors and the other doors, I shut the trunk, I got inside, and I took off so I could see her compete. And then something hit me at that moment, that what I just went through is what everyone goes through. See, I want you to write this down. Success is going to check your credentials. I'm going to say that again. Your success is going to check your credentials. See, there's going to be times in life where you're going right on your way, and when you almost get there, somebody's going to ask you to stop, and it's going to be success. And what are they looking for? They want to see how serious you are. They want to look in your hood. They want to see what's driving you. What is your motivating factor? Success is going to check your credentials. And then they're going to say, hey, wait a minute. Let me see what's in your heart. Let me see how bad do you really want it. Are you going to accept this no? Are you going to accept the fact that someone told you that you couldn't go back to school because you're too old now? Are you going to accept the fact that you can get back into the job market because now you're competing with people that are younger than you and they don't have the same ailments and issues that you have? Are you going to accept that fact, or are they going to be able to look into your heart and find something in there that's going to push you even when you don't feel like moving? And then success is going to tell you to open your trunk, because they want to know what baggage you're carrying. Because here's what I'm going to tell you. In order to get past the checkpoint, there's certain things that are not going to allow you to bring in. That procrastination can't go into the success point. It can't go. That fear, you got to set it aside. You can't bring it in here. That running with the wrong people, it's not going to work. There's some people that are not going to be able to let you pass the checkpoint. Success is going to check your credentials. And now imagine, if you will, you're watching this fight going back and forth, back and forth. George Foreman is fighting the fight of his life. He wants to win the heavyweight championship of the world again, and it doesn't make sense. And what's happening at this moment is he's in a battle. He's being tested. What's happening at this moment? Success is checking his credentials. But he's not stopping. He's keeping swinging. He's keeping the action going. Here's what I know. Doubt reduces action, but action reduces doubt. I'm going to say that again. Doubt reduces action, but action reduces doubt. And he's in this ring of life, and he's swinging. He's putting forth the action that's necessary, and that's exactly what you're going to have to do when you go after what it is that you want. You have to go into action. And that action is going to reduce the doubt that you see, that you feel, and that you hear. You can't listen to what other people say. You just have to take action. You don't know how you're going to make it. You just have to take action. You don't know which path to take right now, but you know you have to take a path, so you get started until you get some clearer direction, and then you go follow that direction. But what you have to do is you have to take action. And so now George is in there swinging in the fight of his life. And success is checking his credentials. And when they look in his heart, they understand why he wants this success. They understand why, because he had a taste of the championship. He used to be a champion, and then in one day he lost it. And now it's been bothering him and plaguing him, and he's stepping back into it again to wonder, can I taste this success again? And there's some of you who have been in the job market and you've gotten booted out, and you're wondering, am I going to be back in this market again? There's some of you who started in school, but because of trials, tribulations, things that we face, we got put out, we had to drop out, we had to set out. But there's something that's going to test you to see, am I going to get back in this again? There's those of us who are working on our relationship, and we've had separations, we've had periods apart, and now we're questioning ourselves, can we have it back again? Success is checking your credentials. And George, in the midst of this fight, they understood his heart. They understood his will. They understood why he wanted to do it. But what no one could really get is they couldn't understand it. What is it that can make a guy think that at the age of 45, something that's never been done before, that he could come into this ring and take on this challenger when he's been out of boxing for 10 years? They wanted to know what made him think that he can do it. And here's what they did not know: that for the 10 years that he was out of boxing, the 10 years that he was retired, he became a minister. He was a preacher. And he spent his time and his days encouraging other people to go after what they want. He told them, hey, you can have the relationship you want. And he told someone else, hey, you can have the business that you want. You have to go after it. He said, hey, it's going to take some hard work. You're going to have to go through some tough times. But if you want it, you can have it. He told them that they could, through faith, get what they wanted. But what was happening? What was happening while he was telling them what they wanted they could have was something was happening to him. You know, I've heard that if you help enough people get what they want, that you can get what you want. And as he was spending time speaking positivity into all of these people's lives, something was changing in his life. And as he told them that they could have what they wanted, he started to believe, wait a minute, if they can have it, I can have it. See, we read where God puts man to sleep, but we never read where he woke man up. Because awareness is a gradual process. And over that 10-year period where he was helping other people become aware of what they could have and what they could be and what they would have to do to get it, something happened within him. And he started to wake up. And I'm going to suggest that what is really going to be the determining factor, that if you can have a gigantic, bold, fun, dazzling life, is that something's going to happen within you. And it's going to come down to what is it that you're putting into your mind? Who are you associating with? And then what is it that they find when they check your credentials? What are they going to find? And so now Foreman, in the fight of his life, he's flashing his credential badge. He's battling back and forth. He's being tested. They want to see how bad does he want it. It's going back and forth. And now his opposition, Michael Moore, is swinging on him and he's hitting him. And this youth and vigor is going after this wisdom and commitment, and they're testing him back and forth. And now Mike is going round after round, and after 6 rounds they had every card winning that Michael Moore was winning. And then it went into the 7th round and the 8th round and the 9th round. They're still battling back and forth, and people are saying, look, it's too late. Why don't he stop taking this punishment? He's just getting hit too many times. It's not smart. He should just quit. But he didn't quit, and he came out in the 10th round, and he keeps getting hit, but he's still fighting back. Some people have doubt, but not him, because he's using action to overcome doubt, he's going back again and again. There's something in his mind that's telling me, if you want it, you can have it. There's something in you that's saying, wait a minute, if you want to improve this relationship, you can go for it. You don't have to listen to what they said. There's something in you that's telling you that if you want to improve your health, you just have to make the commitment to do it. That everybody's not going to see it. Everybody's not going to believe it, but it's up to you to believe it. Faith is for you, and the highest form of faith is preparation. And George said, I may be taking hits, I may be going hard, but I'm not getting knocked down, and I'm prepared. The highest form of faith is preparation, and he was prepared, and he was going right and left, back and forth, and then all of a sudden, bam! He threw a right cross, and Michael Moore went down. I want you to say breakthrough moment. See, that's exactly what happens when you go back again and again and again, and you're going after what you want, and you're willing to pay the price. Larry DeAngie said success never goes on sale. You always have to pay full price, up front, and in advance. And George Foreman had paid the price, and in that moment, bam, it was a breakthrough moment. And Michael Moore hit the ground, and the crowd went wild. And all of the people who said he couldn't do it are starting to think, wait a minute, could this really be? All of the people who told him that he was too old, that he wouldn't make it, that he couldn't last, that he's not the man that he used to be, all of these people are starting to think, wait a minute, he's doing it. See, he didn't listen to what they said. He went with what was in his heart, and that's what you're going to have to do. And as he looked over at Michael Moore laying on the ground, he stepped back, put his arms on the rope, and it was almost like slow motion when the referee counted. 1, 2. See, it didn't matter what they said to him. He didn't have to listen. And it doesn't matter what they say to you. You don't have to listen. 3, 4, that he set aside fear. He set aside uncertainty. And that you could do the same thing as long as you commit to getting what you want. 5, 6, that success was looking him in the eyes and saying, let me see, sir, I need to check your credentials. And you're going to have to show your credentials. 7, 8, he set aside the self-doubt. He put in the hard work. And that's exactly what you're going to have to do. 9, 10. And in that moment, they said, Michael Moore, you're out. But in that moment, George Foreman, you're in. In that moment, he changed his life. In that moment, he started living a gigantic, bold, fun, dazzling life. In that moment, he started to live his best life. Now, this is what I want to tell you. That if you ask George Foreman the next day, were you sore? Absolutely. The next day, were you in pain? Absolutely. And here's what I'm going to tell you. When you go after what you want, when you pursue it, when you give it all you got, I'm not saying you're not going to get hit. I'm not saying that you're not going to be sore. I'm not saying that you're not going to get knocked down so long as you get back up. I don't care if you've been off 10 years. I don't care if they say you can't do it. I don't care if they say you're old, outdated, antiquated. They do not know. People can predict your future, but you have the right to determine it. If you ask George Foreman the next day, was he hurt? He said yes. But the difference was he was now the champion. And you have the ability to become the champion of your life. You have the ability to live a gigantic, bold, fun, dazzling life. You have the ability to be the champion. And all you have to do is commit that the next time you take this idea that's given to you by the universe and you don't look at the odds don't matter. What you do is you get ready. You straighten your shoulders out. You start putting these positive things in your mind. You make sure that you're traveling with the right companions. And you be prepared to show your ID. Why? Because success is going to check your credentials. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Ruben West reminding you to live your best life. And do it now. Why? Because you only get one. Now, I want you to reach out to me on my website. My website is Ruben West 360. That's RUBENWEST 360.com. You can also reach me on Facebook at Ruben West Speaks. That's Ruben West Speaks on Facebook. And then I want you to go check out my new book. It's called Change One Thing. You can find it at Change One Now. That's ChangeOneNow. ChangeOneNow.com. And I want to help you go from living the good life to living your best life. Thank you.
Hey everyone, this is Jennifer Abernathy with SociallyDelivered.com and TheSalesLounge.com. And thanks to Willie Jolly for having me in his Change the World Summit. I'm really excited to be here because guess what? We can change the world. And I'm here to talk about social media and social business because what a great vehicle to be able to change the world through. So I hope that you'll get some great nuggets by listening to my talk here today. So before we get started, again, just want to share I'm Jennifer Abernathy, and I'm at Sales Lounge on Twitter, for those that are tweeting, and I'm at SociallyDelivered.com, which is my socially delivered business, and TheSalesLounge.com, which is my Sales Lounge business, if you want to read a little bit more about me. So I'd like to tell you how I got started and how I got into this social media world, because it really was kind of by default, actually. But I've been in it for a while, since really it started almost. So I was in corporate sales for, 20 plus years. I was a multi-million-dollar, over $40 million in sale producer. I worked for the Washington Post in the 80s and 90s during the heyday. And then I left in 2000 to get into the dot-com world. And I was very, very successful. But there came a moment where I said, you know, I want to do more. I want to be more. I want to have a bigger impact in the world. And so I left to go out on my own. I took a big risk because I was making great money, but something was missing. I wasn't 100% happy. And so I launched TheSalesLounge.com to really help entrepreneurs and professionals with their sales because that was my expertise. And, so I launched it. And I have to say I was very humbled because I thought right away I would do really, really well. I mean, hey, I had sold $1 million a year for 20 years. But it was really tough, and because I got into this whole entrepreneur world, it was very new to me, and I realized that not only am I a salesperson now, but I'm a CEO, I'm an accountant, I'm an email person, I'm a marketing person, I'm the technician when something goes wrong with my technology, and so it was very a humbling experience, and I wasn't doing that well in the beginning. And so about month 3 in, and now we're talking about March 2007, I said, I don't have a lot of cash reserves left. And so I said, I need to do something here. And so I turned to this thing called Facebook. Now, Facebook at that time, there were no books out on the topic. No one that I knew was using Facebook at all. No one that I knew, except for college students. But I started reading about it, and I said, my gosh, there are 30 million people on this site. If I can get 30 of them to be my clients, I'll be fine. So let me just stop right there. That's tip number 1. The whole thing with the social media to really make it successful for yourself is the mindset. You have to look at this stuff. You have to be very, very open to it and think, this could be a new way for me to meet people, to have a greater impact on people, for people to discover me and my teachings and my information. Because it really does work. But it really starts with the mindset, because I have to tell you, when I started telling people that I was doing this thing called Facebook back in early 2007, everyone thought I was nuts. I kept hearing, oh, that's for a bunch of drunken college students. Why are you doing that? You should be out networking at networking events. Although I was doing that, I wanted to give this thing a try because there was something to it. I was like, it's growing very, very fast. And there's something to it. So I went down to the mall and I got my headshot taken. And I thought that I was really hot stuff because when I was in corporate America, no one ever asked me for my headshot, except for maybe when I was winning one of my sales awards, but that was just a photo to put up on the wall in the lobby at the building. It wasn't for public consumption, And so I went down to the mall, I got my headshot taken, I came back and I figured out this Facebook, and I'm on there for business. I was on there, I had my website domain on there, I had my photo up, and I said, all right, let's try this. And I didn't know what to do because there weren't any books out, on how to use it. And so my very first update was, I'm eager to tell the world about the Sales Lounge. And I hit send, and I kind of waited, and I looked, to see if something was going to happen. And nothing happened, of course, because I wasn't connected to any friends. So I turned it off, and I came back 2 days later. And I opened up my laptop, and I went to Facebook, and I said, oh my gosh, I had 2 notes in my inbox on Facebook, and it said it was someone from Canada and someone from California. And the California person said, hey, tell me what the Sales Lounge is. It sounds kind of cool. And the person from Canada said, hey, do you have a newsletter? And I went, oh my gosh, this is an entrepreneur small business gold mine here. I could have never have reached these people with my very limited marketing budget that I had. And I'm based in Washington, D.C., and it kind of went from there, and I just started sharing tips every day, sales tips, marketing tips, and before you know it, I heard from someone from Ireland. I had my first client from Ireland who was on the phone. We were doing phone consulting, and it just kept growing and growing, and before you know it, I would go to speaking events or networking events, and I would be asked to speak, and I would speak on sales, and I just kind of casually mentioned that I was on this thing called Facebook, and they would line up to talk to me about Facebook. And I was like, okay, this is fascinating. And it was all real estate agents, because 2007, 2008, that's when the market started kind of declining, the real estate market. And so I started helping real estate agents for a while. I've helped over, hundreds and hundreds of agents around the country, actually probably a couple thousand, help them with social media and social business back then. And so I have to say, the whole concept around social media and social business, everything that I've done in my business has really happened or been supported by social media, is for me to say to you, really take an open and agile mindset to it. If you go into it saying, I don't know, you got to really sell me on this, I want you to think, switch the opposite and think, there's something to this stuff. Everyone's talking about it. Millions are doing it. How can we do it to have impact? And how can we do it to change the world? All right, so that's my tip number 1. Now, first of all, for those of you who are tweeting and you want to send me a tweet when you hear a great nugget, send it to #ChangeTheWorld14 so I can see your tweets, and I'll keep checking all the time to look at that hashtag. So send us your thoughts as you're hearing this and some of the nuggets that you're taking away. I'm also at Sales Lounge on Twitter, so if you want to follow along, I'm at Sales Lounge. So I want to talk a little bit about where we're going, and then we're going to back up, and I'm going to share with you some more tips. Right now we're in 2014. Things are moving at an incredible pace. I don't care if you're an entrepreneur or if you're CEO of a Fortune 100 company. You have to start thinking, where are we going to be in 18 months? Because 18 months now is like, the change is happening so fast, it's almost like 5 years was the amount of change that happened in 5 years back in the 90s. We're going to be moving and changing so fast. The way we communicate, the way that we network, the way that we socialize online and offline, it's going to change dramatically. So in 18 months' time, and it's already starting to happen now in 2014, something called augmented reality is coming. And basically what's going to happen is we're going to have either smartphones like Google Glasses, smartwear, or simply a device like our iPhone, and we're going to point it at a building, and it's going to tell us, these are the companies that are in the building. This is their website. This is their Twitter handle. These are the materials that building is made of. Or if I point it to a person that has a smart device on them, it's going to tell me, oh, that's Jennifer Abernathy. She has 11,000 followers on Twitter. She's the 2-time author of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Social Media Marketing. She's been on Facebook since 2007. She has thousands of followers on LinkedIn. Da-da-da-da-da-da. It's going to tell me all that just by us pointing the device at each other. Or we might read that information through our Google Glasses. So I say that to you, and I appeal to you with this. Your digital presence and your digital clout is going to matter in the future more than ever before, but now is the time to start building it. Those of us that got on social media early, back in 2007, 2008, we're building a following, we've got attraction, and we have a community of dedicated followers and people whom we network with regularly. But it's not too late. It's not too late to get on. But you need to get on there now, because as this technology keeps shifting, your digital clout and your online influence is going to matter even more. And people are going to decide whether to do business with you. Media people are going to decide whether or not to hire you. Literary companies and agents are going to decide whether or not to sign you to do a book deal. Maybe a media outlet like a TV show will decide whether or not to bring you on the show based on your digital clout, and so on. Or people might decide they want to come work for you based on your digital clout. So it's going to matter in so many different ways. And so I appeal to you to say, let's take a new way to look at these social media channels and think about yourself as a personal brand. Okay? I'm going to go to some of my notes here. And just so it is important to begin thinking of yourself as a brand. When I first started online, I put my logo up, the Sales Lounge logo, because it was kind of cool, it's kind of retro. But once I switched it to my headshot, it was better because people thought, oh, you're the person behind the logo. So I say to people, gone are the days of the elusive CEO. Whether you're a solopreneur or, again, run a Fortune 100 company, you need to be present, you need to be seen, you need to be accessible, and you need to be seen as authentic and approachable. And that's what's working, and it's going to work even more so as the months and the years go by here in the future. So let's start thinking of yourself as a personal brand. So when you're online, you have to remember everything that you write, everyone who you connect to, everyone who connects to you is saying something about your personal brand. So let's start with that. What would be the one thing you'd want to do to showcase your personal brand? Well, the one thing you want to do is go out and get an updated headshot. I can't tell you how many people don't have an updated headshot. Now, I myself, I have to say, slap my hand here, because my headshot right now is almost 2 years old. Not quite, but almost. And so I have an appointment to go get my new headshots here taken soon, because women, we need to get our new headshots taken really every year, because our hair changes, our styles change, maybe the color changes a little bit, and you want to reflect the best and most current you on these social channels. Men, you have it a little bit easier. You can get your headshots, probably get away with every 2 years, but I would say a best practice is to get your headshot taken every year. And ladies, we could even do it every 6 months, but at least do it once a year. It's going to tell the audience in a subliminal way that you care about your brand, which is your personal brand, you care about your business, and you're up to date, and you're very agile in your thinking when it comes to the social media, okay? So that's very, very important. All right, so I want to see current headshots from everybody that out there, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. Now, I'm investing in a really great photographer this go-around, but remember when I first started, I just went to the mall, and I got my headshots taken at one of those kids' portrait places, and it was fine. So if you don't have anything, I don't want to hear the excuse of, well, I can't afford it. Go out there, you can afford it, get some great headshots, and put that out there. Because people like to connect with people. They don't like to connect with logos, okay? Now, let me tell you something about the social business and why you need to participate. One of the reasons why you need to participate is, have you heard this saying, out of sight, out of mind? Yeah, we've all heard that. And one of the great things that the social media does for us and for our own personal brand and our business brand is it keeps us top of mind. So the shift in your thinking needs to be, it's not necessarily going to make the phones ring off the shelf, but it's going to keep my name in front of people. So when they run into someone that needs my services, products, or needs me as a speaker, they're going to remember me and refer me. So oftentimes, like, I'll see Willie's stuff on Facebook, and it reminds me, oh yeah, Willie, I need to make sure that I'm, referring him if someone needs a speaker, etc. Or I need to get his books to give to my clients, whatever it is. So top of mind, social media is going to keep you top of mind. It's going to keep you networked in a way that we can't do when we're going out to networking events. And I want to say that it's great for connecting to people either before you go to a networking event or after a networking event. So many people, we go to conferences and we go places and we'll get business cards and we'll meet people that we really like and we might call them and follow up. But the key and the magic of all this stuff is that now we can stay in touch on a weekly basis, if not a daily basis, by following that person, by commenting on their updates, and staying in close touch online on all the social channels. So think of it, again, you want to stay top of mind. That's something really important. Get your current headshot out there and really start thinking about these sites as the ultimate networking event. Okay? Now, in my books, I talk a little bit about the different sites. I talk about Facebook. And I say Facebook is like the television network of social media because it skews far and wide. It's it's kind of like a cable channel. Okay, you've got your 14-year-olds on there, supposed to be, but you've got your 14-year-olds on there, and you've got your 80-year-olds on there. Okay, and it's all income levels, just like a network channel. So Facebook is very far and wide. LinkedIn is like a cable channel. Okay, LinkedIn is very, it's a professional network. It is, it's your C-level, VP level, or even just, professionals out there. But it has a different vibe to it. So you have to think of that networking event as something different, very different from Facebook. Facebook skews more women as well. And then Twitter, I write about, Twitter is like the cocktail party of social media. It's, if you think about the ultimate cocktail party, you open the door, and everyone is sharing tips and information about their business, about their expertise, about conferences, seminars, about they're sharing handouts with each other. That's what Twitter is. Yes, the younger people are on there, but they're not on my network on Twitter. It's all professionals. It's your 30-year-olds all the way up to your 80-year-olds on their networking on Twitter. So Twitter is very, very important. So if you aren't on Twitter, because I know a lot of you aren't, I want you to really look at it because there's some amazing, amazing networking happening, a lot of business opportunities happening, a lot of social selling happening, and people are there looking for you. So it's another place we can have impact and ultimately change the world. Okay? So again, send me a tweet when you hear a good nugget. Okay, next, we're going to talk a little bit about some easy ways for you to spread the word that you're on social media. Because a lot of people think once they sign up for an account that, again, everyone's going to come and they're going to find them. And they will ultimately, but it takes time. So some easy ways to really start building your social network at first is to, I wish I had mine here, take your business card. These are my older business cards. I should have had my new ones in front of me. Take your business card, and I want you to put your Twitter handle on it. So I had follow me on Twitter at the Sales Lounge. Okay, so you want to make sure you have that on there. Okay, I'm just going to check something here real quick. I'm sorry. Make sure we're doing okay with time. Okay. Okay, wonderful. So I want to make sure that you have your Twitter handle on the top of your card or somewhere on your card, and even put your LinkedIn URL on your card as well. Have that on there. The other place that is great to share your social media information is your voicemail. So when I first started my business, and I got on Twitter and I got on these sites, I would say in my voicemail, hey, don't forget, let's connect on Twitter. I'm at Sales Lounge on Twitter, and let's connect on Facebook. And I gave my information. A lot of people forget to do that. What that does, it really sends a signal that you're ready to network, you want to socialize, and that you're a connector. People want to be near and associated with people who are connectors. So I think that's really important for you to know. Okay, it's also a part of your new brand, a part of this whole social business landscape. When you tell people that I'm an open networker, I'm going to connect to people that I don't know because that's how your business and your influence is going to grow. That is now attracting people to you and to your business. So that's very important. Back in the day, we only connected to people that we knew. But that's changed now. With social business, we want to connect to anyone because we never know who we're going to have impact on, who's going to refer us to somebody else. They may not buy from us, but they might refer us to somebody else. And this is how you change the world. This is how you have impact. Okay? So I want to talk a little bit in our time left about just some of the sites that you really need to consider. I think that you want to look at LinkedIn, absolutely. Make sure your profile is set up well. Make sure you have your headshot up. Make sure you have your summary filled out on LinkedIn. And really important tip, make sure you have your phone number in your summary so people can contact you and your email address. I think that's really, really key. And if you'd like, take a look at my profile on LinkedIn to give you some ideas, okay, on how to write it. I want you to look at, particularly if you're targeting women, I want you to look at Pinterest. Pinterest is hot, hot, hot right now, and it's not just a site for crafters. Businesses are getting on there, and they're attracting women to their products and services and their message. So look at Pinterest. At least take a look at it. See what it is. So when it comes up in discussion, you'll know what it means. I want you also to really consider, I mean, Twitter is a must. You must get on Twitter. Get on there, understand it, embrace it, start connecting. I promise you, you will love it once you understand it. It's just a great, great site and a great place to network. And again, spread your message, spread your connections to have greater impact, okay? Another site you want to look at, I want you to start thinking about video, just like I'm doing now. You know, we didn't grow up in front of a camera like the kids do now. Get comfortable in front of video. Start using Skype to connect to people. I want you as a business to start thinking about how can you do 1 minute or 30-second video clips and put them out there. 2014 is a year of video. Amazon just announced that Fire TV, everything is going to be going internet TV. Your business needs to go TV as well. So here's a great nugget for you. I want you to buy a .tv domain for your business. So like I'm going to get saleslounge.tv. I need you to get, you know, your firm, xyzfirm.tv. And because that's where things are going. Everything's going video and visual. We're going to need to start telling our story with video and photographs, and that's where things are going. You know, we just have to kind of go with it. So social business is changing. The social web is changing the way that we're doing business and we're connecting to each other. As a business, I want you to start thinking about, as a team, how can we spread our message? How can we have greater impact? Look at your overall brand online. It's so important. Be social. Be an open networker online. Connect to people that you don't know. Start connecting to media and publications that you want to be in. They're scouting it daily, looking for people like you and me. I got my book deals from someone who found me over Facebook. I've gotten in major magazines, you know, major media exposure, and lots of opportunity because of social media. But you don't have to be a social media author to make it happen. I've seen it happen for our clients who are running air conditioning businesses to top CEOs that I work with. So I want to say thank you for your time today. Please send me a tweet, ask me any questions that you have. You can go out now, you can change the world. We now have platforms that our message can reach millions, which is really, really exciting. All you have to do is embrace it, have the right mindset, think of yourself as a personal brand, and you watch, you can change the world. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
You're a terrible writer. You'll probably have to repeat 3rd grade. Those were the words of my 3rd grade teacher, Mrs. Taylor. She told me that Wednesday. I'm only kidding. She told me that I had just recently transferred to O'Keefe Elementary School in Chicago, Illinois. It was my 2nd day in class. I wish I could tell you that that conversation was shared in the privacy of a parent-teacher meeting, but it wasn't. It was shared in front of the entire class. You see, that was my 4th school in 9 months. My parents were getting divorced. The day before that, they had given me a series of tests and told me to write an essay. And she read the results in front of the entire school. Raise your hands if you know that children can be the cruelest people on the planet. Thank you. I wish I could tell you that it ended there, but it didn't. By the time recess rolled around, not only were the kids in my class making fun of me, the entire school was making fun of me. Could you feel my embarrassment? Could you feel my pain? That little voice, you're not a good writer. stuck with me for a long, long time. A long, long time. But I was able to get over it with the help of some friends. One of those friends, and actually I wouldn't say one friend, there's two friends, and there was one villain. In the speaking business, there is an axiom, and the axiom is publish or perish. This is also true in academia as well. And people in the speaking business are always asking me, Ed, how come you don't have a book? How come you don't have a book? How come you don't have a book? Well, because of that one voice in my head, I didn't have a book, despite the evidence. You see, in high school, I won something called the National Anthology of Student Essays. I'm a former news anchor. I've been actually invited to be a columnist for a nationwide magazine, but I turned it down because of that voice inside of my head. But one day, something happened. Three people helped me out. Number one was the villain. And I was channel surfing one day, and I saw this talk show. And on this talk show, it stopped me because this guy, he was wearing a suit, but he had some very unusual sunglasses on. So I decided to investigate and see what was going on. And as it turns out, he was an author. And he had written the following book. The book is entitled Pimpology. How to be a pimp. And I said to myself, oh my gosh, a pimp has got a book. Please tell your neighbors, a pimp has got a book. I'm up until that day, I'm thinking to myself, the only thing I thought that a pimp could do with his hands was to slap an employee. And all of a sudden it occurred to me, a pimp's got a book. And not only does he have a book, he's on a book tour. He's marketing. On the screen, there's a trailer. And it says, www, be a pimp now. There's an 800 number. Operators were waiting. How many of you know that real life is better than fiction? You can't make this stuff up. And all of a sudden it occurred to me, you know, if a pimp can write a book, well, maybe it was time for me to let go of that little voice in my head. Because I don't know about you, but I think that I have something far more valuable to tell the world other than how to degrade women. Won't you agree? And so do you. Each and every one of you who hasn't written that book, you have something far more valuable to give to the world. So I'm going to invite you. I'm going to challenge you to also write a book as well. That first hero was Darren LaCroix. Darren said the following. He says, a blog is nothing more than an email sharing what you've learned. You do this for a living. Can you write 2-paragraph email about what you've learned? And the answer is, of course. The second hero, her name is Carrie Perrin Smith, and she said the following. She said, Eddie, separate your ideas from your grammar. Now, as simple as that idea sounds, it was news to me. You see, I thought since my grammar was so bad, my ideas were so bad. And she says, no. She says, you need some help with your grammar, but your ideas are brilliant. She says, you can hire someone for the grammar. You can get anyone on the internet. But we can't just get anyone to come up with good ideas. And in that moment, I experienced something, what I call a mindset shift. That is, I shifted from that little voice in my head that had held me back for so long to a new awareness. And my goal here today is to share with you what I call mindset shift strategies and technologies, so that you can move beyond being stuck. Anyone here been stuck? Thank you. Now, one of the ideas I'm going to share with you is counterintuitive. It's not the way that you have been taught. It is not the way that you have learned. In fact, I'm willing to bet the vast majority of you will resist it. You will reject it. But I'm going to invite the following. What if this idea will help you? What if this new view or this mindset shift will help you move beyond being stuck and to be successful? What if? So let's go on with it, shall we? Here's what I'd like you to do. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to write down traits and characteristics of some of your heroes or leaders or people that you admire. That is the kind of person you would like to be or follow. So list as many traits and characteristics as you possibly can. You've got 2 minutes, go. What are some of the traits and characteristics? Anyone? What's that? Confidence. Confidence. Thank you. What else? Yes? Be a phoenix? All right. I'm glad you're spelling. All right. Yes? Visionary. Yes. Authentic. Yes. Determined. Yes. Creative. They have integrity. Yes. They're passionate. They lead by example. They're demanding. Yes. Spontaneous. How are we doing? Okay, we have Phoenix. Integrity. Okay. By the way, everyone say hello to NASA. Yes. Dynamic. Yes. Disciplined. Walt.
Calm in a crisis.
They're calm in a crisis. Okay? Yes. They have a sense, they have humor. Humor. Yes. They're dependable. Yes. They're gracious. Yes. Humble and strong. Yes. Inspirational. Inspirational. Over there, yes. Challenges adversity. Yes, sir. They're principled and good-hearted. They're teachable. Yes. Empathetic. And one last one, who really has got one, a really good one? Okay. They're honest. Honest and spiritual. All right, thank you.
Are you reading these? Are you expecting to read these?
Let's give her a hand. Thank you very much, okay? Spiritual. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm glad you did it. All right. Please stand if this list reflects you. Look at it. All right. We always have a couple takers. We've got 4 people. And we're talking the entire list plus the list that everyone has written here. So please stand if that list reflects you. No takers?
What about a percentage? What percentage?
I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. In a moment, I will show you that this list does indeed reflect you. Please turn your workbooks to page number 75. What I'd like you to do is on the top, we have what we call, these are personal characteristics. And we have 4 blank slots on the top, and we have 4 blank slots on the bottom. On the top, I'd like you to list what I call your characteristic strengths. So it could be some of the things that maybe you're visionary, maybe you're authentic, maybe you're creative, etc. List whatever your characteristic strengths are there. On the bottom, what I'd like you to do is list areas that you like to improve upon. Your weaknesses. List 4 of those. Begin. For those of you who are finished, what I'd like you to do next is there's some scales. They go from -5 to +5. I'd like you to evaluate yourself as you see it. Please give yourself a score on each one of these traits and characteristics. From -5 to +5. And again, it's as you see it. So for example, if you put down open-minded and you gave yourself a +3, place that number on the bottom part of the scale, on the bottom. And conversely, in terms of listening, if you want to improve in terms of listening and you saw yourself as a -2, again, put that on the bottom of the scale. Question for you. Looking on the bottom, have we done this exercise 2 or 3 years ago where the same things have occurred? Show of hands. Yes? No? What does that say about the processes that you've used to correct those? Or they don't work, or perhaps maybe they're not that important to you. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to put a star next to at least 2 of those things you'd like to improve by the end of the year. Just put a star, and we're going to come back to this list a little bit later on. I'm curious, are they attitudes or are they skills? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have an election. And you only get to vote one way or the other. I'm going to call out each one of these leadership characteristics, and you're going to tell me, and it's going to be voice, vote, majority rules. Voice, vote, majority rules. There are no ties. Which is it more of, an attitude or a skill? Is everyone with me? All right, so confidence, is that an attitude or a skill? Attitude. Okay. Be a phoenix. Visionary. Authentic. Creative. Leads by example. Okay, voice, vote, majority rules. Spontaneous. Integrity. Goal-oriented. Flexible. Let's see. Principled. Good-hearted. Empathetic. Honest. Spiritual. Dynamic. Disciplined. Calm in a crisis. Humorous. There's someone over here really loud. I think they're swaying the vote. Dependable. Gracious. Humble. Inspirational. So let's see what we got here. Attitude, 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 skill. Attitude, 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 skill. Attitude, 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 skill, 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 attitude. What are some messages here? Attitude is important. Am I suggesting that skill is not important? Let's say, for example, let's look at a skill, like listening. Wouldn't you agree that's a skill, being a good listener? Let's say, for example, we had an employee, and we had to send this employee to good listening school because he wasn't a good listener. He goes to school, he scores A's on all the tests and all the exams. He comes back to work. Is he a good listener? Not necessarily, but we have proof. We have quantifiable, measurable proof that he's a good listener. Why would you suggest that he's not a good listener? He may have a bad attitude. He may not use what he knows. And that, my friends, is an attitude. Even though on the surface it appears to be a skill. Now, what's the good news about attitude being a part of success? You can change it. How long does it take to change an attitude? A second or? Forever. Forever and a day. Here's what I'd like you to do right now. I'd like you to share what I call an attitude shift story. I'm going to give you an example. I'm only going to give you about 60 seconds to share with your neighbor or so, but if you have one, share it with your neighbor. And here's an example of an attitude shift story. There's a customer of mine. They have a teenage daughter who works for Mrs. Fields Cookies. It's a Saturday afternoon. It's very, very busy. Her coworker takes her break. There is a senior citizen behind the counter, and she's taking a long time to make a decision. In the meantime, there's a long line that is forming. What is the attitude of the teenager behind the counter? Hurry up. She's frustrated. What is the attitude of the other customers? They're impatient. Finally, the senior citizen, she comes to the front counter, and she thanks the young lady for being so patient. She says, "Thank you. I want to make sure that I give my son the correct cookies tomorrow before he leaves for Iraq." Now, what is the attitude of the young lady? She's embarrassed, but she's also maybe more kind and compassionate. What about the other customers? It depends. Would you agree? A little bit more compassionate. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we have the capacity, we have the capability of changing our attitudes in a moment, if we choose to. Make sense? Each and every one of you is capable of conducting what I call an attitude shift. You can do it in a moment. So take 60 seconds and share with your neighbor if you have an attitude shift story. Go. You got 60 seconds. You got to make it quick. Show of hands. Who had an attitude shift story? Just raise your hands quickly. Thank you. Look around the room. Each and every one of you is capable of what we call an attitude shift story. Now, you guys know what CYA stands for, yes? Okay. Call your attorney. Oh, I'm sorry. Does it mean something different here? Oh, okay. Let's try this. Challenge your assumptions. or change your attitude. I'm still headed towards this counterintuitive idea. There's a couple other components I need to share with you before we actually get to the idea. Let's talk about the functions of the human mind. And there's two functions of the human mind. There is an intuitive mind. It is creative, it is playful, visual, emotional, random. Then we have what we call the analytical mind. And the analytical mind is analytical, logical, sequential. There is one trait about the analytical mind that we need to consider. It is programmable like a computer. Programmable like a computer. And there's a problem with programmability. Programmable is deceivable. Programmable is deceivable. Let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, it's payroll. You got your payroll check, and there's a line of code in the computer, and it says that 7 plus 5 is equal to 1. How long would it take you to figure out there was something wrong with your paycheck? How long? An instant. How long would it take the computer to know? It would never know. Programmable is deceivable. How many of you remember Y2K? Who still has bottled water and canned goods? Programmable is deceivable. And in computer systems, we call it programming. In human systems, we call it beliefs. Are there some beliefs that you once held when you were younger that today are no longer true? What would be some examples of that? Not good enough? Okay, what else? Money doesn't grow on trees. What else? Someone said, did you say Santa? We're going to stop the seminar here for a moment. I'm sorry, what were you saying about Santa? I heard it over here, this part of the room. Programmable is deceivable. And ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you there is some programming through our belief systems that we have been fed that is inaccurate. I call it the ultimate deception. The ultimate deception. But before I share it with you, let me put it to you this way. How do you measure darkness? Absence of light. You either have, we either have no light or we have some light. But we can never have less than 0. Is everyone with me? So if that's true, how do we measure weaknesses? Absence of strength. We either have some of a trait or a characteristic, or we have none of a trait or characteristics. But we can never have less than 0. Is everyone with me? The ultimate deception is this. The ultimate deception is a belief through programming that we have weaknesses. I submit to you that we have no weaknesses. Each and every one of you has varying degrees of strength measured from 0. Let me repeat that to you again. You do not have any weaknesses. Each and every one of you has strengths measured from 0. Are you with me so far? Are you resisting me so far? Yes, thank you. Well, thank you for being honest. I appreciate that. The truth is this. You have no weaknesses, only strengths measured from 0. We have been sold that this is the plan. This is how it works. We either have strengths or we have weaknesses. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can't be a minus in any aspect of your life. You cannot be a minus. You either have something or you have nothing. But you can never have less than none. Are you with me? You either have something or you have nothing. But you can never be less than none. We have been sold a bill of goods, folks. We have been sold a lie. You have no weaknesses. We have varying degrees of strength measured from 0. We call this concept resetting to 0. And in any area of your life where you see yourself as a minus, you have to reset the scale. Let me give you a physical example. Let's say, for example, we have 2 beakers of H2O. We have 2 beakers of water. The one to your right is at minus 1 degree Celsius. The one to your left is at currently 1 degree Celsius. We want to increase the temperature of the water by 2 degrees for each. Now let me ask you this. How much energy does it take to do that for both? Is it the same, or does one require more? Who says the same? Show of hands. Thank you. Who says one requires more? Okay, which one requires more? Okay, the one on that side. And why does it need more? Why does it need more energy? What is its current state? It's minus. It is, what is the state? It's frozen. It's ice. Here's the deal. It actually takes 80% more energy to heat this 2 degrees than it does the other one. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in any area of your life where you see yourself as a minus, do you understand now why you haven't made any progress? Do you understand now why you feel stuck? Because mentally you are frozen. No aspect of your life. You can never be less than 0. You either have none of a capability or you have some of it. But you can never be less than none. Tell your neighbor, I've got some, or I've got none. Tell somebody else, I've got some, or I've got none. But I can never be less than 0. Tell your other neighbor, you can never be less than 0. Is this good? Is this good material? Please tell your neighbors, I told you he was good. Here's the point. We must make a state change in our mind in any area of our lives where we see ourselves as less than 0. And here's the cool part. We don't have to have 80% more energy. How long does it take to change an attitude? A second. Or if you choose to, a lifetime. Here's the good news about attitude being a part of success. You can change it. You can never be less than 0. It takes no energy to make a state change in your mind or an attitude shift. Reprogram the truth. What I'd like you to do is go back to page, I believe it's page 75, where we have the scales. And this is what I'd like you to do, is I'd like you to change the scales. So what I want you to do is I want you to cross off your previous scales and put the new numbers on top. So in this particular case, if you previously gave yourself a -2 as a weakness, the new score is +3. If you rated yourself as a 0 previously, the new score is +5. And if you didn't see yourself as a minus and you gave yourself, in this case, a +3 credit on the old scale, on the new scale, that's a +8. Change all your scales. Please do that now. And by the way, the scale doesn't stop at 10. It actually goes out to infinity. But for our purposes, it's a 10 today. Now let me ask you this. Is there a difference in seeing yourself as a -2 versus a +3? Is there a difference? And what's the message to you in that difference? It doesn't take so much energy. What else? I'm good. You're good too. There's hope. Ladies and gentlemen, you can never be less than 0 in any area of your life. We have been sold a bill of goods, the ultimate deception, that you have weaknesses. You have no weaknesses. We have varying degrees of strength measured from 0. So I'm going to ask you one more time. Please stand if this list does indeed reflect you. Give yourselves a hand. Give yourselves a hand. Tell your neighbor, you rock. Tell your other neighbor, I rock too. You may be seated.
Dr. Letitia Wright, and I am the host of the Right Place television show and one of the top experts in crowdfunding in the world. I want to thank Dr. Willie Jolly for having me as a part of his Change the World Summit, and of course, I want to thank Shay Brown and Trevor Otts for having me a part of this event. I want to share with you today about how to get fully funded in 90 days or less. But in honor of this event, in honor of the fact that we're at the Change the World Summit, I want you to just not think about money for you, but think about the nonprofits that you support, students that you know are going away to college that just don't have enough money, people around the community that are doing great things that need some funds. And I want you to think further than just your own pocket, because crowdfunding the Kickstarter way is not just about broke people trying to get money. It's really a secret tool for philanthropists. The philanthropist in you can actually come out. Imagine hearing about a student, a well-deserved student, who just needs that extra $1,500 for tuition, and being able to say, we can make that happen in the next 30 days for you, and helping them and seeing them go off to college. Imagine that nonprofit that you love, that does things in the community for you that you don't have time to do, being able to say, wow, you have a need in this area, I can bring my community together and solve that need for you. Crowdfunding is bringing together a community that gives you different amounts of money to reach a financial goal. What's cool about crowdfunding or doing this Kickstarter method is that you are not in debt. You're not going into debt. You're not going into your own pocket, but you're not going into debt either. This is not a loan, and this is not a grant. This is getting cash for your project in 90 days or less. So how would you feel to know that you're not just profitable, or you're not just popular, you're profitable? My mentor says if you're popular and you have a lot of people around you, that's great. But you're only profitable if you can get those people to move. That's what I want to ask you about. When you look around at your tribe, when you look around at the people that support you, you look around the people that you can influence, if you can get them to move on the behalf and create success for someone else, that's true leadership. That's true leadership. Not just move them for your own sales, but move them on behalf of other people. I know that many of you work hard for nonprofits. Some of you are running and speaking and walking and raising funds. I want to show you something, a different way, an easier way to use the influence and the power that you've already created to simply get the job done. Some people need cash. Let's just be upfront about that. Some people need cash. There are times when your speech, your cans of food are not enough. They don't need a pat on the back, they need cash. And this is what crowdfunding can do. Crowdfunding can bring cash to the situation in 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. And that's the strategy that I teach. See, Spike Lee raised over $1 million crowdfunding his film. Not because he was broke and didn't have $1 million, but because he wanted to bring together a community to make something happen. The people that are involved in that film are not shareholders, and they don't control what he does, but they do feel ownership and feel good and feel a part of something special. There are a lot of people crowdfunding different things. Most people only know about one website, which is called Kickstarter. Kickstarter in 2013 funded $465 million. Yeah, that was one website. There are 500 different websites that you can use to crowdfund. There is there are billions of dollars being flown back and forth using this Kickstarter / crowdfunding method. And I want to share it with entrepreneurs because entrepreneurs can use it to really grow their business or to help other people. This Change the World Summit is special because the messages are here to change you, but to change the world around you. I love, different nonprofits. My family is into literacy. We support the Bob Lucas Literacy center and library. It's a library and a literacy center. Bob Lucas is my grandfather. It's named after him. And we support that. Well, crowdfunding has become an awesome way for me to help that library have funds and stay open to the public. Los Angeles Youth Network, that's another nonprofit that I really love. They help homeless youth. I don't want to see 13-year-old babies sleeping on the street. But I also cannot house or be a foster mother, or I don't have a lot of time to be out there on the street giving out blankets and food and medicine and all of that. That's what LAYN does. Well, to buy more homes, they need money. They don't need me to come and give a speech. They don't need me to come and pat anybody on the back. They have staff that knows how to deal with children who have been abused and run away and sleeping on the street. They have staff that specialize for that. But what I want to do is I need to bring cash so they can do their thing. And you have a lot of projects like that that you want to bring cash to. And not just always out of your own pocket, but creating a community. So here's what crowdfunding is really about. It's about raising money, but it's also creating a sense of community, a sense of responsibility with a large group of people that you influence. You can raise money for your business, you can raise money for your book, you can raise money for a nonprofit, you can raise money for almost anything. People have crowdfunded care. The first crowdfunded baby's already been born. The first crowdfunded book was Stick People, and it raised $1 million. They were the first book to raise $1 million. There's also been a musician with her CD. She's already raised $1 million. The possibilities are absolutely endless. My job as a crowdfunding expert is to make sure you know about it as a tool. You see, entrepreneurs sometimes are so busy head down working that they forget that there's new developments going on, and this is something kind of new. It's not a fad, and it's not going away. It's just growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's a tool that you can use every day. Once you learn it, you can pull the trigger over and over again. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. You can do it over and over and over again. I've helped clients raise the money that they want. One of my clients raised $7,000 in 10 days. Another client reached her goal in a week because she was using the strategy that I taught her. Yeah, anybody can throw up a crowdfunding project, but the deal is, can you be successful? Can you raise money? It's heartbreaking to try to raise money for something that you love and it just sit there and nothing happened. Well, there's a formula to it. There's always a success formula. There's a formula to it, and I have that formula for you. So if you are really about changing the world, if you are really about seeing something different happen, and you know there are situations where it's about cash, the planning's been done, the research has been done, the execution has been done, now it's just they need cash to execute, or you need cash to execute, then let's talk about crowdfunding. Down below you can see where it says getcrowdfundednow.com/fund. That'll take you to our crowdfunding club. Crowdfunding club happens on April 28th of 2014. Now, what happens at Crowdfunding Club? When you join on April 28th, we're having a class where I'm going to literally teach you everything you need to know to be a part of the Crowdfunding Club. This Crowdfunding Club will give you all of the details, all of what you need to do so that you can take it and you can execute it. We'll even give you a new resource guide that I created that has 25 of the hot crowdfunding sites. These are sites that I really recommend for my crowdfunding clients that are entrepreneurs. There are over 500 different sites. You don't have time to research them. You know, people tell me, I've done research, I know about 2 sites. Maybe there's 500 sites. If you haven't researched, if you've only researched 2, that's not enough. But I will give you a guide where here's 25, look at those and you can choose the best one for you. And from the class you'll know what is the criteria for choosing the best site for you. You'll get all of this, and it's a very low group price, and I gotta tell you, it is the last time it's going to be this low. Crowdfunding Club is only $250. Now, a $250 investment to learn how to create cash anytime you want to, I don't know what else you can ask for. My hours privately are $250 an hour. So you're getting 3 hours of class for $250. You're getting $1,000 of me just talking to you in class for less than $300. And you're getting the guide, and you're getting your launch prep. I'm excited for what you can do in the world, and I want to help you do it. So go to getcrowdfundednow.com. You can sign up. You can find out more. We've got 20 spots, and yes, 5 are already taken, so I guess we only have 15. We have 15 spots. I'm only taking 15 people because I am going to be working with you one-on-one and helping you, and I know that my time is limited. So if your time is now, if you're ready to help someone, if you're ready to figure out this new cash flow that is happening all around you but you didn't see it, now's the time to sign up. When will be the next crowdfunding club? Gotta tell you, not sure that there will be one in 2014. So get on it now so you can change the world now. For those of you who take action today and let me know that you came from the Willie Jolly event, I will also give you an extra hour of one-on-one time. That's time with me, time getting real information and real secrets. Not me BSing and talking about your day, but me really giving you some insight on what we're doing. See, it's time for a change. The internet has leveled the playing field. Now you don't have to wait to create a foundation and create a nonprofit and do all this stuff to help somebody. You can do it right now if you know the technique. So I encourage you, go ahead and sign up. I thank you for your time. Time is everything. Time is everything. And I'm going to leave you with these words. Ignoring one's conscience is neither safe nor right. I'll see you next time.
Empowered greetings, friend. Delatoro McNeil II here. Listen, I'm excited about the moments that we're getting ready to share over the next few minutes as I change and transform and challenge your life from this concept. I believe that most people are caught between their dream and their job, their paycheck and their promise, their destiny and their daily routine. Could this possibly be you? Listen, I'm excited to be here with you. I want to thank Dr. Willie Jolly for this wonderful platform. I want to thank my new buddies, Shay and Trevor. I thank every single one of you all for being a part of this platform. And I'm excited about the few moments that we have that I have to share with you a few things that you can utilize to do what you love and get paid for it. I want to send a special shout out to Dr. Wright for doing all the wonderful back-end work to help make this platform possible for all of us. And I want you to get your pen and paper out because I believe that over the next few minutes that we have together, if you will let me, we can partner together and I can change and transform your life. I am a peak performance expert, best-selling author, and renowned keynote speaker based in beautiful Tampa, Florida. I get to travel the world. I've been in this industry over 15 years, been on worldwide television networks. I earned my CSP, which is a Certified Speaking Professional designation, through the National Speakers Association 10 years before the international average. So I'm really, really excited about that. It puts me in the top 7% of paid professional speakers worldwide. And I'm humbled by that. I'm a man of God. I love God. But I'm even a greater student of success and student of people who are in transition. And I'm here today to talk to you about my concept, my book, and my coaching program called Caught Between a Dream and a Job. How to leave the 9-to-5 behind and step into the life that you've always wanted. Now, here's what I firmly believe. I believe that you don't have to cash in personal fulfillment for professional gain. I believe that you can do what you love and get paid for it. You believe that as well, or you wouldn't be on this hangout. You believe that you can do what you love and get paid for it because you're already doing it. In fact, you're a ninja. You are awesome. You are bad to the bone. You are the bomb.com because here's one thing I know about you. You've made money. You've generated cash. You've produced an income doing something that you don't like, because studies tell us that 87% of Americans report being dissatisfied with their jobs, and as high as 40% of Americans will say that they actually hate what they do for a living. Listen, hate what they do for a living. So they dislike it, or go to the extreme and say they hate what they do, comma, for a living, but they do it so well that they can get paid for it. Now hold on, stop the presses. If you can get paid to do something that you dislike and even hate, imagine how much more you can get paid to do what you love. Imagine how much more you can get paid to live your dream. Imagine how much more you can get paid to fulfill your purpose and your assignment on this earth. You know, this book and this coaching program have literally landed us on worldwide television. We've been on Fox, NBC, ABC, BET, TBN, Daystar. I'm sure you've probably seen me on any of one of those television programs. Joel Osteen, the America's favorite pastor, has endorsed our material. And I'm really humbled and excited to be with you in this intimate space, because right now there's no cameras, there's no lights, there's no audience. It's just us. And in this intimate encounter, I'd like to just share with you a few things that I believe that you are going to need to know and to utilize if you want to do what you love and get paid for it. You know, my concept, Caught Between a Dream and a Job, is really about occupational fulfillment. Now, that word is a really powerful word to me, occupational fulfillment, which means you are supposed to occupy. You're supposed to rule and reign and dominate whatever you choose to do for work. That's occupation, your occupation, how you occupy, how you own, how you take up space, how you dominate in what you do. Footnote, write this down, whatever you do, be incredible at it. People don't pay jacks, they pay masters. I'm going to say it again. People don't pay jacks, they pay masters. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about that when I share an equation with you in a second. But keep in mind that if you really want to kick butt and take names, you can't just be decent or all right. You've got to be the bomb.com. You've got to be incredible. You've got to be amazing at what you do. So occupational is how you occupy. Now, fulfillment, the other part of that word, is really powerful, because to me, you are supposed to fulfill a role in this life. You're supposed to leave this world better than the way you found it. And as you do what you do for a living, it's supposed to fulfill a role, and it's supposed to fulfill you at the same time. The problem is we fulfill roles all day, every day, for 8 to 10 hours a day, but that role does not fulfill us. Occupational fulfillment is doing what you were meant to do and doing it so well, so bad to the bone, so ninja, that it fulfills you as you do it. Every single day, I'm fortunate and blessed enough to do what I do, to the extent that every time I do it, in every way that I do it, and to whom I do it to, it adds value to me as I'm adding value to others. And I truly believe that that's the type of life that God wants all of us to live and to lead. My friend, just for being a part of this webinar, I want to give you a free gift right now. If you'll take out your cell phone, and if you'll send a text message to 38470, 38470, all I want you to do is, in the body of that text message, type in Delatoro, D-E-L-A-T-O-R-R-O. So you're going to send a text message to 38470, and all you're going to type in is Delatoro, D-E-L-A-T-O-R-R-O. Now, as soon as you do that, you're going to be given the wonderful opportunity to get 2 really awesome gifts from me just for being a part of this hangout. So I want you to know that you're the bomb.com, and I admire you and all my chevers out there. Listen, I want to give you a gift just for being a part of this. So as soon as you text Delatoro to 38470, you're going to get 2 free gifts from me. One is a free gift called What is Success? 12 simple answers to one of life's most complex questions. You know, it's a free MP3. It's 60 minutes long. You're going to absolutely adore it. It's incredible. And it's a powerful, powerful coaching program and a coaching system and a coaching session, if you will, that's absolutely free, where I share with you 12 answers to one of life's most complex questions. What is success? Is it the money? Is it the house? Is it the car? Is it leadership? Is it legacy? Is it physical health? What is it? I answer that in that MP3. I'm also going to give you my 5-part video series on peak performance. It's a video series that you're going to enjoy. Each video is about 3 to 4 minutes long, and it's powerful content. So when you need your deletorial fix after this hangout, you'll be able to enjoy that, and you'll become a part of our community, and we'll be able to let you know what we've got coming up in the very near future. So as soon as you text 38470 and you type in Delatoro, you will receive those gifts as a free bonus, over $200 worth of value, absolutely free, that I just want to give you and bless you with just for being a part of this program. So I'm really, really excited about that. Now let's jump into some content, because I'm really, really excited about that. I want you to write down this equation for me, and I'm going to write it down with you, okay? I want you to write down an equation. I believe that purpose is like a math equation plus passion plus proficiency plus promotion equals profits. All right, see, I wrote it down just like my friend. I believe that purpose plus passion plus proficiency plus promotion is what's going to equal profit. Purpose, discovering and figuring out what it is that you're on this earth to do, the assignment that's on your life. God didn't give anybody everything, but he did give everybody something. My friend, what is your something? That's what this system is all about. And you can start learning about this system simply by visiting www.caughtbetweenadreamandAjob.com. That's www.caughtbetweenadreamandAjob.com. One of the key principles that I share in this amazing 10-disc coaching program, there's 10 audio CDs in this thing, and I'm going to become your personal life transition and career transition coach through this program. But one of the keys that I share is I help you discover what God put you on this earth to do, the assignment, the purpose that's on your life. I believe something powerful. The moment that you were dropped on this earth, God dropped a problem on this earth at the same time. And the moment that you and your gift and talent meets the problem that you were put on this earth to solve, your calling has been reached. And you're supposed to live your life living in your calling and getting paid to operate in what you're supposed to already be doing. Let me tell you something a different way. Your gift and your talent really should be something that comes easily and naturally to you. Your purpose is the assignment that God put on your life for why you're here. And I'm here to tell you that you're here to do a whole lot more than drink up all the water, suck up all the air, and eat up all the food, as Dr. Jolly would say. You have a tremendous assignment on your life. And I need you to understand that you are a professional problem solver. So the moment that you identify the problem that your gifting solves, and you begin to market your excellence and your expertise to the people that have that problem, my friend, you can begin to generate some income. But you got to understand your purpose. So when you order this system, I'm going to give you the system and the book. You need them both, because the system is 10 audio CDs, okay, that you'll be able to listen to in your car, over 10 hours of coaching. Plus you need the book, because the book is something you get to write in, dog ear, and you get to kind of highlight it. And I ask you 30 of the toughest questions you're probably ever going to be asked in life to help you understand how your past, your present, and your future is trying to help you get clear about what your purpose is. Because, my friend, as soon as you know your purpose, you can live your dreams at an incredible level. So the first part of that equation is, what's your purpose? Once you know your purpose, then you got to operate your purpose with tremendous passion. People say, follow your passion and the money will come. That's a lie. That's garbage. That's not true. You have to not only know what your passion is, but you have to execute your purpose with passion. People tell me all the time, they say, man, Delatoro, you got so much energy, when they see me at live events or stages, or they see me crowd surfing, or they see audiences doing the Matrix, 5,000 people, 6,000, 10,000 people doing the Matrix all at one time. They say, man, Delatoro, wow, you got so much energy. And I say, you know what? It's not energy. It's passion. I am passionate about seeing people live their life to the fullest. I'm passionate about seeing you do for a living what brings you joy, what brings you peace, what brings you excitement, what comes naturally to you. You know, I love something that Albert Einstein said. He said all of us have genius inside of us. But if you were to ask a fish how smart it is based upon its ability to climb a tree, the fish would always feel stupid. See, the truth is, my friend, every one of us have an ideal environment where our gift shows up. And your gift does not show up until you're in the right environment. So you have to put yourself in the right environment where your passion can be ignited, and where your passion is stirred, and where your passion and your unction for the right things, the gifts and talents that are already a part of you innately, get to thrive. So you got to know your purpose. Then you got to execute that purpose with tremendous passion. Once you know your passion, you got to follow the third principle, which is you got to get good. And I mean really good. We live in an era and a society right now that is globalized, which means your competition has quadrupled. You got to be good. You can't just be decent. You can't just be all right. You've got to be amazing. You've got to be incredible. And you cannot be a jack of all trades, but then a master of none. You got to learn how to be like a stamp and stick to one thing until it delivers. I'm going to say it again. You got to learn to be like a stamp and stick to one thing until it delivers. Am I saying not to have multiple streams of income? No, I love multiple streams of income, and I have many streams of income, and I have since I was 14 years old when I got my first job bagging groceries at Winn-Dixie. I've had multiple streams of income in my life since I was 14 years old, and at the time of this recording, I'm 36. So I've had multiple income streams for a long time. And one of the things that I've learned is that people pay people who are good. I stuck with speaking when I was speaking for chicken dinners. I stuck with speaking when I was speaking for cornbread. I stuck with speaking when nobody was booking me. I stuck with speaking when I was speaking in Toastmasters groups. I stuck with speaking in good economy, bad economy, medium economy. I stuck with speaking when other businesses were thriving. I stuck with speaking when other businesses were failing. I stuck with speaking when I was single, when I was married. I stuck with speaking when I was popular, when I wasn't, when I was on television, when I wasn't. I stuck to one thing. My friend, are you willing to stick to one thing until it delivers? Are you willing to be committed to whatever your purpose and your passion is, to the point to where you're willing to do it in good times and out, in season or out of season, whether you're up, whether you're down? Are you willing to stick to that thing? And if you're willing to stick to that thing, my friend, I'm here to tell you that whatever you water grows. So if you stick to that thing, incredible stuff's going to happen in your life, and it's going to help you get proficient. But you can't get proficient if you're not willing to stick to something. And I mean stick it out when it's good, bad, when it's hard, when it's lonely. You got to be willing to stick to it until it produces a result for you. Once you get good, then the next thing you got to do, my friend, is you got to let people know. You got to promote the fact that you're incredible at what you do. I know so many people who are gifted and talented, but they haven't taken the time to promote what it is that they're incredible at. So what I want to encourage you to do is really take the time to open up your mouth. We live in a global society right now. We got social media, we got YouTube, we got Google Hangout like this. I mean, we have unlimited opportunities, and many of them are free to promote our expertise. But I'm going to encourage you, promote the fact that you're good. Don't use social media. Don't let social media promote you to a place that your excellence cannot maintain you. You know, it's important that you not pull back the curtain until the stage is ready and the play is ready to begin. So my friend, don't be afraid to develop on the backside of the desert. That's why in my coaching program and in the system, I teach you about the power of the dream job. See, because if your job is here and your dream is here, you need a bridge to get from one to the other. That bridge is called a dream job, which is a brief occupational opportunity that pays you salary and benefits to practice your dream on somebody else, while on nights, weekends, and lunch breaks, I'm going to say it again, nights, weekends, and lunch breaks, you start building your dream on the side, your side hustle. See, Del Toro's not the cat that's going to tell you to go out and quit your job tomorrow. No. When I was caught between my dream and my job, you know what I did? I took a position at the University of South Florida. See, my story is quick and it's simple. I was labeled an at-risk youth in the 5th and 6th grade, told that I wasn't going to amount to much of anything. But my 6th grade teacher came up to me on the first day of class. This is the story that got Joel Osteen's attention. And she said, "Son, you're not a youth at risk, you're a youth at promise." And she began to mentor me. During recess, she said, "You're going to spend half the time with your friends and the other half of the time you're going to sit next to me and I'm going to teach you about life." One of the first lessons that she taught me, she said, "Son, as soon as you were dropped on this earth, your potential took off ahead of you, and the whole race of life is about you catching up to yourself, not the Joneses." I think every time we go up to a military person, we should shake their hand and say, "Thank you for your service." But I think every time we go up to an educator, we should hug their neck and say, "Thank you for your impact." We all have a favorite teacher that changed our lives. Miss D was that teacher for me. From that point, I had no more academic challenges. I went to Florida State University. I got bachelor's and master's, 2 degrees in 5 years total with a 4.0 and 0 student loan debt. Came out and took a $50,000 a year job in corporate America. Started building my first townhouse at 21 years old, and all of a sudden, life happened, and I got hit with pain. That's right. I lost that great cushy corporate job. Went from 50 grand to nothing in a day. I had a decision to make. The next morning, I looked at myself in the mirror and said, never again am I going to let somebody else determine my destiny. It's my time to get in the driver's seat. So I know what it's like to not only be caught between a dream and a job, my friend. I know what it's like to be caught between a dream and no job. And some of you all who are listening to this program right now are in that spot as well. You're caught between a dream and no job. Some of you all are caught between a dream and a job that you enjoy. You enjoy the job. It gives you good income. And it's giving you great benefits, but you know that there's a dream on the inside of you that's tugging at you to do something more purposeful, more powerful, and more profitable with your life. My friend, that's why you need this 10-disc coaching program. When people call me, I want you to visit www.caughtbetweenadreamandajob.com right now. Visit the website right now. When people call me for one-on-one career coaching, they pay anywhere between $350 to $500 an hour for me to just give them some one-on-one advice. In this amazing 10-disc program, you get 10 hours of my best coaching that you can listen to over and over and over again in the comfort of your car or your home or while you're on that plane. You can download everything into iTunes. It will change and transform your life so that I can shift you out of job living by default and into dream living by purposeful and powerful design. If your dream is bigger than your job, you need this system in your life. Once I made a decision that I was going to transition out of my job into my dream, and I was forced into it through that layoff, I began to start speaking, and then I took a 2-year position at the University of South Florida. That was my dream job. Remember I said earlier, if your job is here and your dream is here, you need a bridge to get from one to the other. That was my dream job. And I worked at the University of South Florida for 2 years as a professor. So I was a professor. I taught public speaking, and then I also was a faculty staff trainer. So I taught faculty and staff. I was 2 years out of college teaching those that teach college students. I knew then that God put a special gift on my life, and I wanted to develop that gift and live it out to the fullest. For 2 years, I was making $40,000 a year at the University of South Florida, while on nights, weekends, and lunch breaks, I was building my speaking dream and my speaking career on the side. I cashed in personal fulfillment for my future, for my dream. And then in 2003, I went full-time as a speaker, and I've been full-time ever since. It's been an amazing journey. I've been all over the world. God has blessed us to do amazing things, and I feel like I'm just getting started. My friend, I need you to understand, when you know what your purpose is, when you execute your purpose with tremendous passion, when you get extremely good at what you're meant to do with your life, and when you promote it and tell people that you're amazing at it, then you can produce profits. Profits that not just make you a living, but make you a fortune. Profits that give you multiple streams of income. Profits that allow you to be philanthropic and give to other causes that you believe in, other nonprofits that you believe in, other people that you believe in. It lets you leave a legacy. One of the things that I love that Dr. John Maxwell, who's one of my mentors and good buddies, taught me years ago. He said, Delatoro, great leaders never cross the finish line first place, because they're always bringing a whole bunch of leaders across the finish line right along with them. And I truly believe that that is really the call for all of us. My friend, as we begin to bring this to a close, I just want to take a moment and challenge you with a few things that's going to help you take it to the next level. First of all, make sure that you send that text to 38470 and just type in Delatoro, Delatoro, so you can get $200 worth of free gifts just for being a part of this. You're going to get the 60-minute What is Success MP3, and you're going to get the 5-part video series on peak performance. Second thing that I want you to do is visit caughtbetweenadreamandajob.com right now and order this amazing, amazing system, this amazing program that'll change and transform your life. Let me just read off to you a couple of the discs that are in here, and these discs are packed, jam-packed with content. I love something that Robert Anthony, who is the mentor to Ron DeBane, who created The Secret, said about this program. He said, consultants charge thousands of dollars for this information. Make sure you order it today. I think that's powerful, coming from the mentor of the woman who created the worldwide phenomenon called The Secret. Disc number 1, identifying your destiny and clarifying your vision. Clarity is power, my friend. If you want to know what your dream is and land in your dream, you got to get crystal clear about what it is. This number 2, whoever told you to job. There's 3 ways for you to look at work. You can look at work as a job, you can look at your work as a career, or you can look at your work as a calling and a dream. I teach you on that disc how to graduate your understanding of what you do for a living so that you can do what you love and get paid for it. But you have to change your approach towards work. Disc number 3, living your life by design rather than by default. Think about it, my friend. Everything around you, you design it. Your phone is designed. You customize it. You customize your laptop. You customize your car. You customize the playlist in your car. You customize your CDs. You customize your seatbelt. Everything around you, you customize it in order to maximize it. But most of us live a defaulted life, but we design the stuff around us. I teach you how to design your life on your terms on that disc. It's powerful. It's life-changing. Disc number 4, your life's purpose, the catalyst to your dreams. Powerful, powerful disc. It will make you pull over on the side of the road. It's so powerful. And you want to get this 10-disc coaching program because it truly is. It's coaching. It is the best of me. It's psychology. It's empowering. It's spiritual. I give you challenges. I make you pause the disc. And then the book is powerful because it gives you the opportunity to flip it upside down. Lord have mercy. It gives you the opportunity to write in it and highlight it and dog ear and all those wonderful things. So, my friend, I just want to share with you some things that I know that you're going to be able to utilize in order to take your life to that next level. But if you want to get out of job living and into dream living, and you want to build that dream up, because some of you all have the dream, you know what the dream is, but you haven't built it up enough so that it can support you and your family. So you're still working a job and you're working your dream on the side, and your side hustle is not mature enough for you to step out on it full time. You need the system, so I can teach you the strategies, because I have 2 discs on here. Disc number 8, 20 powerful tools for strategic transition. I teach you exactly how to transition out of that job into that dream, how to hire yourself using the magic of part-time. Absolutely profound. What you're doing in your part-time is what's going to determine how fast your dream builds. What you're doing with those nights, weekends, and lunch breaks. And I teach you exactly what to do in those nights, weekends, and lunch breaks for you to amass an incredible fortune for yourself and build that dream out powerfully. Absolutely, just unbelievable. There's also a DVD in here of me presenting live, which you'll really enjoy. So this is the system that I want to bless you with. We've given you an incredible discount, but you got to make sure you go to caughtbetweenadreamandajobcom to pick it up. It'll change and transform your life, your future, your business, your family. It'll help you pay off debt and exponentially. It will put you in a completely different place in terms of your tax bracket, and it's going to help you to build out your dream strategically and powerfully. My friend, if you want to be a leader, you got to lead yourself first. In order to lead an army of many, you got to start by leading an army of one. I'd like to give you a special invitation to develop your leadership and to develop your entrepreneurship. I have an annual conference called the Full Throttle Experience. You can visit www.fullthrottleexperience.com. That's www.fullthrottleexperience.com to learn more about my 3-day live leaderpreneurship conference. It's called the Full Throttle Experience. It's based on a motorcycle metaphor. I've been riding motorcycles for 8 years, and I love it. And I've learned a lot about life and business and success while riding a motorcycle. And we have some of the top speakers from across the planet to come to speak as faculty at Full Throttle. And you also get 3 days with Del Toro.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. I hope you've already had your dose of caffeine, but don't worry if you haven't. You've come to the right place. You are going to absolutely get your dose of caffeine this morning. For those of you who are experiencing me for the first time, let me just introduce myself again. I'm Cheryl Wood. I am referred to as the Fearless Success Coach, and I'm going to share with you some of the reasons why I've been labeled the Fearless Success Coach. I am a mom. I'm a wife. I am, most importantly, a very passionate woman who believes in pursuing her dreams, who believes in nurturing her possibilities. And so for this next 30 minutes or so, I just want to take this opportunity to pour into you so that you understand that your possibilities have the opportunity to become realities if you're willing to nurture them. And so again, I say welcome to this summit. I want to thank my mentor and my friend, Dr. Willie Jolly, for allowing me to be here, to have a voice to share with you today. And of course, my good friends, Shay and Trevor, for always creating such dynamic platforms for speakers like myself to be able to impact, inspire, and help to transform people around the world. Here's my motto for 2014, and maybe if you've been following me, you already know it, and that's great. For those of you who don't, the motto is this: play time is over. And that is the hashtag that I want you to go into the private, elusive, exclusive Facebook page and put out, and I want you to put it out into on your Twitter feeds, hashtag play time is over. But I want you to take it a step farther. Behind playtime is over, I want you to put these words: I will no longer press the mute button on my greatness. I will no longer press the mute button on my greatness. What I know is that now is the time for you to handle and address and embrace your greatness with urgency. Urgency. Not something that you can get around to when the perfect circumstances happen, that's when you'll do it. I mean, right here, right now, today, I want you to commit to treating your dreams, your goals, your aspirations as though nothing else matters except for that. And I'm especially talking to all of my women out there who have put their dreams on a back burner. You know, if I'm talking to you, you are probably a woman who has a lot of responsibilities and obligations. Maybe you're a mom like I am, and a wife and a business owner. But you have been putting your dreams on a back burner for so long that perhaps the vision of what you truly want to do in life, the vision of who you're truly destined to become, has become a bit fuzzy. And so today, as a part of this summit, this is the opportunity for you to reignite the passion for creating the reality that you desire. But you don't just desire it. It's creating the reality that you deserve. After all, you owe it to yourself to create a legacy. You owe it to yourself to unveil the manifestation of the greatest you. And I call that a masterpiece. And whether you believe it or not, whether you know it or not, whether you're waiting for someone else to validate it or give you permission, today is the time for you to stand in your power and to say, playtime is over. I will walk in my greatness without apologies and without regrets. Now, this is something that's I'm very passionate about, and it resonates in my spirit, and I'll tell you why. Because 5 years ago, I didn't walk in my greatness. 5 years ago, I was not embracing my power to be something different, to do more, to be more. I wasn't embracing my possibilities as something that could actually become a reality. So if you rewinded on my life story 5 years ago, instead of being this speaker and author and coach, you would have found me as a very frustrated, discontent mother of three. In fact, I feel like I was existing in life. I wasn't living it. I was existing in it. Some of you know what I mean when I say that. Meaning I was simply running the routine of life. I was almost like a zombie. You know, I woke up in the morning, I got up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, I tag teamed with my husband to get our kids ready so that we could get them off to before care. I went to a job that didn't nurture my spirit, didn't truly fulfill the person that I needed to be, but hadn't uncovered yet. Rushed back across town at the end of the workday to get the kids, always racing the clock. always screaming out internally for something more, for something greater, but not truly having the courage and the fearlessness to go after it, even in the face of the fact that it might fail, even in spite of the fact that I was this little black girl who grew up in the projects of Baltimore and didn't have a master's degree and didn't have a PhD. I had not yet developed the courage or the confidence to know that it was okay for me to pursue my gifts, to pursue my talents, and to walk in the power that I had, acknowledging everything that I did have instead of acknowledging and putting a bright light on all the things that I was lacking. And that kept me stuck in a place of want for entirely too long. I wanted a different reality. I wanted to be able to be more actively involved in my children's lives. I wanted to find something I was truly passionate about, where every morning I would get to wake up and absolutely love what I was doing. I wanted to be able to create generational wealth that would long outlive me as a person, that would extend to my children and their children and their children. Those were the things I wanted, but I stayed stuck. I remained hostage in a place of want because, like so many of you perhaps watching this morning, I was too afraid to take a risk, too afraid of what might happen. I was too comfortable with what I thought was safety and security. And for me, that safety and security was connected to a full-time job. Now, that's not to say that I absolutely hated my job. It wasn't the job that I hated. In fact, that job gave me so many skills to do what I'm doing today. But what I hated was the fact that I didn't have control of my own destiny. I didn't have control over my own wealth. I didn't have control over my own time. And that just wasn't good enough for me. 5 years ago, as I intentionally decided that I was going to do something different so that I could somehow experience different results, I decided to embark upon this thing called entrepreneurship. Now, let me tell you, I was clueless when I started out. I mean, absolutely clueless. I went to the library, I went to the bookstore, I bought every book that I could possibly buy to try to get a clue. And I didn't have anybody holding my hand. I just knew that I had to do something different. And I knew that if I took the leap of faith, if I jumped in with both feet, even not knowing all the answers, that somehow I would align with what was really my destiny. I would align with what was really my purpose. And that's what I did. I started a little t-shirt business 5 years ago. It was called Moms Are the Best. I connected it to something I was passionate about, which was motherhood. And I used this t-shirt line to inspire and to empower women and moms who have so many responsibilities, but oftentimes aren't celebrated, except one day a year. But here's the thing about jumping in with both feet and taking a risk and doing something even though there's no guaranteed results. Usually, that is the thing that propels you to where you really should be. Usually, that is the thing that will detour you and align you with what your real purpose and your real passion is. And that's exactly what happened. That t-shirt business simply was an initial platform for me to get to what was truly my destiny, which is speaking and empowering men and women all across the globe to take risks, to step outside of their comfort zone, to do something different, to be so committed to having and creating a different life that absolutely nothing will deter you. What happened? Well, a year and a half into that journey of vending, of sitting out in the sweltering heat with no tent because I was a rookie at the time, and selling t-shirts and sitting out in parking lots and praying, Lord, please let somebody buy a t-shirt so I don't have to go back home and tell my husband I didn't sell anything, that I came back home just as broke, busted, and disgusted as I was when I first left in the morning, and that I also spent 6 or 8 hours away from him and the kids. I had to be okay with the failures that would eventually get me to where I was supposed to be. So a year and a half into doing that, I got a phone call one day from Morgan State University. And the person said, Cheryl Wood? I said, yes. They said, hey, this is the rep from Morgan State University. We've been hearing about you. And we hear that you're this mom who started a t-shirt business even while you're still working a full-time job. And we want you to come to our annual women's conference. And we want you to teach other moms and women how to start their own business. Wow. I said, are you sure you spelled the name correctly? It's Cheryl Wood. There's no S on the end of that. You sure you have the right person? Because I thought I was being punked. I did not think there was any way possible that they were contacting me, who at the time I still thought I was a rookie. I was still a rookie. I didn't expect anyone to contact me about my expertise in teaching other women and moms how to get started, how to overcome all the negative self-chatter, all the fears, all the doubts that you have, all the non-guarantees, but to do it anyway. And after I did that event, after I spoke at that event, I knew that I had not wasted any time. I knew that that year and a half that I'd sold t-shirts in the sweltering sun in parking lots, I knew that all the time that I dragged boxes of t-shirts to my car and unpacked it and set it out on a table and didn't sell anything, and then had to pack it back up and drag it back to the car, I knew that none of that was in vain, because it was simply a test to see if I was willing to give more power to my faith than my fears about failing. Are you ready? Are you willing to give more power to your faith than your fear, so that you can begin nurturing the thing that's deep inside of you that you know is screaming out to be let go, to be released, so that you can walk in your greatness? Now is your time. Playtime is over. And I want to give you just 3 ways that will help you to get to that place of being willing to walk in that greatness, of being willing to embrace your power and being able to use your voice, your talents, your gifts, your skills, your experiences to change the world. Just like Dr. Willie Jolly is changing the world. Just like Shay and Trevor are changing the world. So here's number 1. I hope you have a pen and a notepad so you can jot these down really quickly. Number 1 is to commit to the decision with tenacity. When you commit to the decision, that means you're taking action. See, some of us, sometimes we think about it, we wish for it, we hope for it, we daydream about it, we even lose sleep over it. Some of us are on our hands and our knees and we're praying for that breakthrough in our lives, but we're not committing to it with tenacity because we're not taking action. Action is the only prescription for fear, for self-doubt, for worry, for wonder. Action. What are you doing that's moving you closer to the thing that you say is your destiny, to the thing that you believe you're meant to do, the reason that you believe you're put here on this earth? See, when I say commit, I mean, yes, you're willing to sit in the sweltering sun and sell those t-shirts. I mean, you're willing to get out and go to that networking event, even when you're exhausted because you've worked all day and you really just want to go home and take a shower and kick up your feet. When I say commit, I mean you are willing to keep knocking and knocking and knocking and knocking and knocking until someone says yes. That's tenacity. Tenacity is a sheer stubbornness for getting what you want, for staying in the race. Look, I've never ever watched a race and seen a runner throw up their hands midway and say, you know, I'm just tired, I'm over it, count me out. I've never ever seen that. But what I have seen is a runner who has reached the complete space of exhaustion, but who will develop just enough energy to crawl their way to the finish line, just to say they finished the race. Are you willing to commit to your goal, your big dream, your aspiration with that type of tenacity, with that type of stubbornness and willpower and persistence and perseverance? Playtime is over. We don't have time for excuses. We don't have time to live in our past stories that have held us hostage for so long. We no longer have time to allow ourselves to continue to be the victim of all the things that went wrong in the past. Now is the time to stand on your feet and be the victor, and to crawl your way to the finish line if that's what it takes. You've got to commit when no one else is willing to support you. When everybody else is looking at you and saying you're crazy because you want to leave your job and pursue this business. You're crazy if you want to get away from all those toxic friends. They've been your friends for years. Why would you try to get away from them now? You're crazy if you decide at 50 or 60 to go back to school to further your education so that you can get to that next level in your career. See, you've got to be willing to endure those thoughts from other people that, yes, you're crazy, you've lost your mind, you're a little over the top. That's what people who are truly committed to their goals and aspirations and dreams do. Committing to the decision with tenacity means you keep going even when it's easier to stop. Even when you look at everything that's in front of you and you say, my God, why am I doing this? And then you remember, because you owe it to yourself to live a life that's filled with excitement and energy and passion and enthusiasm. You owe it to yourself to wake up every morning excited about what you do. See, 5 years ago, that wasn't the life I lived. I told you it was an existence. And I dreaded going to the office every day. I dreaded it. But now that I've taken risks, that I've completely stepped outside of my comfort zone, now that I've fallen flat on my face over and over and over again, now that I've looked my naysayers straight in the eye and said, I'm going to do it anyway, now I get to live the thing that was just a possibility 5 years ago. And I get to wake up every single morning with enthusiasm and excitement and an energy in my spirit that cannot be contained. It's an energy that wakes me up first thing in the morning, even though I don't have to leave the house at 5 o'clock. I'm up at 5 o'clock, ready for what the day is going to bring to me. It's the thing that keeps me awake at night, that keeps me up until 3 in the morning creating content to share with my customers. It's the thing that keeps tapping me on my shoulders even when I have challenges, even when I have setbacks, and reminds me, Cheryl, you owe it to yourself. Do you have that type of commitment? Are you willing to have that type of tenacity to pursue what you believe you've been put on this earth to do? Well, I know you can develop that commitment, and that's the beauty of it. Even if you haven't developed it yet, you can use this summit as the thing that catapults you to absolutely develop the commitment, the stubbornness, the determination. Here's number 2. I want you to kick fear in the gut. That's right, I said it. I'm not a violent person, but I want you to kick fear in the gut. And when I say kick fear in the gut, I mean everything that's in the back of your mind that you're afraid of. People's rejection, or people telling you no, or people's judgment of you, people's criticism. Maybe it's your own inability to see yourself as being great, as being amazing. Maybe it's the fear of failure. Maybe it's actually the fear of success because you think people are going to look at you and say you changed. Whatever the fears are, you've got to look it straight in the eye and do it anyway. Everything that I've done in my business, everything over the past 5 years, generally speaking, when it's something big, it has scared me to death. Absolutely scared me to death. But once I do it, oftentimes I realize that what I was so fearful of is not quite as great as I thought it was. I kept myself hostage because I allowed the perception of what it would feel like, what it would be like, what it would look like to keep me held hostage. Just last year, just in August, I decided to take a big leap. You know, one of my big goals has been to be in a stadium and to be able to share my message of empowerment and fearless living and this whole motto of eliminating excuses and playtime is over, to be able to share that message with masses of people at one time, preferably in a stadium setting. And so I joke and I say, well, you know, folks like Les Brown and Tony Robbins hadn't called me yet, so I had to take matters into my own hands, and I had to go out and rent my own stadium. See, that is kicking fear in the gut. Because when I rented that stadium and I took my husband with me, he looked at the contract and I looked at the contract. He looked at the and he looked at me and he was like, He looked at those numbers and he said, are you sure? And I said, no, I'm not sure. I was so nervous. I was so afraid. Everything in the back of my mind was saying, Cheryl, why are you doing this? Why are you taking this financial risk? Why are you taking this risk that people are actually going to come to this event when you're not a Hollywood name? You're not this big person on the market. Why are you taking this risk? And I said to him, if not now, then when? Even if I waited 6 months from then, even if I waited 12 months from then, I would still most likely be just as afraid as I was in that moment. So I had to ask myself the difficult question, why not now? Why not me? And that's what I want you to ask yourself. Why not now? Why not me? If anybody's going to succeed, why can't it be you? If anyone's going to achieve their big dream, if anyone's going to walk in their greatness and make an impact on the world, if anyone's going to create a legacy, if anyone's going to build generational wealth, why not you? And why not now? Don't play the when-then game. When this happens, then I will. Your time is now, but you've got to believe it. You've got to embrace it. You've got to claim it. See, I claimed that I would be a well-known name in the arena of motivational speaking before it ever happened. I visualized it and spoke about it as though I was already living it. And I started to walk in the shoes that I wanted to fill before I ever filled them. That is kicking fear in the gut. And every day I wake up with this amazing energy and I say, now what scares me the most today, but that's going to get me closer to my dream? And whatever that thing is, whether it's picking up the phone and making a phone call, or asking someone for support, or going out and prospecting for customers, whatever that thing is that brings me the most amount of fear, I kick fear in the gut and I go for it. And most times, 99% of the time, I do not regret it. That 1% of the time I might regret it because I don't get the answer I want. But that's okay too, because that builds character. And that builds strength, and that builds determination in me internally to know that I can keep going even when I do hear the word no. And last but not least, number 3, create non-negotiable boundaries to achieve your dream. When I say create non-negotiable boundaries, I mean time boundaries as well as boundaries as it relates to your level of focus, boundaries in your mental space, your mental capacity. So of course, your time is your most valuable asset, and you absolutely have to create boundaries around that. And you've got to say, okay, yes, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm this, I'm that, but my big dream is to do this over here. And so every day or 3 times a week, I'm going to set aside these hours strictly to pursue my dream. Whether that means finally writing my book, or whether that means creating content for my business, or whether that means going out and nurturing relationships, whatever the thing is, create those time boundaries and hold yourself to it. Hold yourself accountable. Don't allow yourself to get away with taking the easy way out and creating excuses. What did we say? Playtime is over. But also, you've got to create boundaries in your mental space, meaning when you do set those time boundaries and say, I'm going to do this, and this is going to move me closer to my dream. When you make that commitment for time, also make the commitment for your mental space, meaning you're not going to allow anything else to come in and distract you. You are going to laser focus on those things, those tasks, and those assignments that propel you forward, that move you closer to your big dream. So there you have it. Commit to the decision with tenacity, kick fear in the gut, and create non-negotiable boundaries. And I'll tell you this. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're just exhausted from thinking about what you want, from getting on your knees and praying about it, for wishing for it, for hoping for it, for writing things in your journal about it, and you're not getting the results that you want. And maybe in your mind you've created all of these reasons why it's not going to happen for you. But I urge you, I absolutely implore you to reignite that spark, to reignite the flame that, yes, your possibilities can develop and evolve into probabilities, and those probabilities can then become realities. I am living proof that if you don't stop, if you persist, if you're consistent, if you believe in being repetitious, if you believe in knocking and knocking and knocking and knocking, even when people tell you no, if you believe in knocking again until you get the yes that you want, you will live the life that you deserve and desire. Every morning, start your morning off telling yourself, playtime is over. I will no longer push the mute button on my greatness, on my dreams. And this is what I do. See these here? These are my winner medals. I treat myself like a winner every single day. I put these medals around my neck as though I just ran the Olympics, a marathon, and they just gave me these medals that say winner. And I treat myself like a winner. I talk to myself like a winner. I think like a winner. I act like a winner. I read materials that help to make me a winner. I listen to audios and podcasts and downloads and CDs that help to make me a winner. And most importantly, I surround myself with other winners who will not allow me to diminish my light, who will not allow me to say comfort is okay, because I know that comfort simply breeds mediocrity, and that comfort and greatness do not live on the same street. Now is your time. Playtime is over. Hashtag it out there on Twitter, in the private Facebook page, elusive, exclusive Facebook page. Playtime is over. I will no longer push the mute button on my greatness. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Go out there and get your blessings. I'm Cheryl Wood, your Fearless Success Coach.
Hello everyone, this is Martin Stecca all the way from Texas. I just want to say it's a true honor to be here with you this evening. And I want to thank Dr. Willie Jolly and Change the World Summit, also Shay and Trevor for giving me this opportunity. You know, everything starts with your mindset. Your mindset sets everything up for your success. And when you have the right mindset, everything just seems to click. Everything keeps going. See, even before marketing, even before sales, even before all the production, you've got to have the right mindset. Let me show you just a little bit of what I mean on this thing. See, when you get enough knowledge, and Les Brown says that knowledge is the new currency. So when you get enough knowledge, things start to happen, see? But then you get your skills down. When you get your knowledge and your skills growing, your mindset starts to grow. And we all need to change our mindset. Let me share something with you very quickly. When I grew up, I was growing up in a baseball. I grew up in a baseball family. My dad loved baseball. Year in, year out, we used to play in the summer, in the winter, every time we played baseball. Well, when I was in high school, my best friend and I were head-to-head in everything. We're very competitive in everything. He was third base, I was shortstop. We would race to see who would get the most bases stolen, the most hits. Well, in our senior year, I still remember this, we tried out for the Kansas City Royals. We went to the local university, or in Austin, Texas, and tried out for the Kansas City Royals. And of course, out of 150 participants, only one got chosen, and it wasn't me. But later on that year, my friend asked me, hey, Martin, I'm going to another university to try out for the team. You want to go with me? We might make it. And I said, man, Mario, I really want to go. But you know what? I don't have any money. And he said, just get $20 from your dad. Just get $20 and we'll sleep in the van and we'll eat hot dog, whatever we need to eat, sandwiches. Let's just go and try out. I said, I can't go. Well, he went, and about 4 weeks later, about a month later, he got a letter accepting him or offering him a full ride scholarship. And he told me about it, and I said, oh my goodness, it hit me. I lost an opportunity. Over $20 that I could have asked my mom, my dad, my uncle, somebody, I lost an opportunity because I didn't ask or I wasn't prepared. Well, here I'm going to give you some information as a symbolic $20 so you won't lose your opportunity when success comes. So you don't lose the chance that you might have. I want you to have the symbolic $20 to say, yes, I'll go. Not only go, but make the team. So the mindset is the first thing you got to get ready. And one of the first things, of course, mindset is broken down into many things. And the first one that I really, really believe with all my heart that is vitally important is your attitude. Okay? Your attitude is very, very important. And we must know that. Your attitude changes everything. How many of you know somebody with a negative attitude? I think we all do. It changes the atmosphere. You could be in a room full of people and everything is going right, and then this person with the wrong attitude or a bad attitude or a negative attitude comes in, and it seems like they put a wet towel over the room. Everything goes down. Everything changes with that. But how many of you know somebody with a positive attitude? It's incredible that you don't even have to talk to this person, and they walk in, and they're like, oh, there he is, or there she is. Attitude has a lot to do with your success. The mindset of a right attitude is the pathway or stepping stone to get into where your destiny is at. So attitude has a lot to do with it. Now, let me ask you this. How long does it take to change an attitude? A lot of people say, well, it takes 21 days because it's a habit. Let me let you know something. It doesn't take 21 days. It doesn't take 21 hours. It doesn't take 21 minutes or 21 seconds. This is how fast you can do it. I remember a story. My mom, when we were small, we lived in Plainview, Texas. And we had a very small house. And you can go in the front door, you get into the living room, then you walk into the kitchen, then you make a turn, and you go into the bedroom. It was a one-bedroom house. And there was connecting doors all over, so you can go from one room to the other. Well, my mom, I would make her a little upset sometimes, and I would run, and she would chase me. And my mom is a pretty, she's kind of like, well, she's blessed. Let's call her blessed. So she would follow me, and she would be crying, and she would be speaking to me and screaming at me as I was running towards. I would go to the kitchen, then I would go to the bedroom, jump on the bed, get up, go to the living room, and run, and she would be crying. I'd make her cry, and she'd be yelling at me in Spanish, Martín, vas a ver cuando llegue tu papá, te va a pegar, and I would just still be going, and the phone would ring at the same time. Well, she would be crying while answering the phone. She'd go, and then she'd go, hello? That's how fast you can change your attitude. It's up to you. It's about a decision that you make to say, you know what? This is the attitude that I am going to have from now on. It's an attitude. And an attitude changes everything. I remember one time I went to a local bank here where I live, and I was the first one there because when I walked to the glass doors, the janitor was coming and he was opening the door. So I was the first one in. I was the first one in line. About 10 seconds after I came in, a young lady came in a rush, and she went to the back, and I knew she was a teller because she went straight into the back, and all the windows had that little sign that says next window, next window, next window, next window. So I went to the window, and she was there. She said next, so I went up, and I said, ma'am, I need this check cash, and I need a money order. When I looked at her, I could not believe this, and this is a true story. I looked at her, and she only had one eye painted in mascara. The other one, it did. And I looked up, and I had to take a double take. I was like, ma'am, I need the... I don't know what type of morning she had. I don't know if she was running late, if she had a flat tire, if she spilled coffee on her skirt, she had to go back. But I knew that she was in a hurry. She only had one eye painted. But her attitude was incredible. Incredible. And I was thinking to myself, this can't be happening. Really? Really? Is she really like that? I wonder if she knew. Her attitude was amazing. I said in the back of my head, should I tell her? Should I tell her that she's only got one eye mascara? Her hair was all wet and it was all back just like that because she was in a hurry. And I thought to myself, should I tell her? Should I not tell her? And I said, no, I better not tell her. Her attitude was incredible. But we must look a little bit deeper than just attitude. Because when we hear the word or the words, she's got an attitude or he's got an attitude, we usually connotate it to a negative content. We must understand that attitude changes the whole situation, especially for you. Those who want to be successful. But let's look a little bit deeper than just attitude. Attitude has a lot to do with your success. But before attitude, we're going to look a little bit deeper, and that is your certainty. There are people that are certain, and there are people that are uncertain. People that are certain demand command in the room. When they walk in, people that are certain walk a different way, talk a different way, carry themselves in a different way. They have no problem making decisions. This is what we're going to do. This is the direction that we're going to go. We need to have more people that are certain of what they want in life. We have too many wayward wanderers going about life at 30, 40, 50, 60, even 70 years old, wondering what they're going to do. And then there are others that are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 that know exactly what they want to do. See, people with certainty know how to make decisions. And that's what we need. We need people to know how to make decisions, that know how to make decisions. And it's important to do that because there are also other people that are uncertain. They're uncertain about everything. They do. Now, let me tell you this. Years ago when my kids were younger, we used to get out of church and I always used to ask general question, where does everyone want to eat? Well, my wife wanted to eat something, and my daughter wanted to eat something else, and my son wanted to eat something else. And we could never decide. We would drive all along the boulevard and look at all the restaurants, and then make a turn back and then come back. Nobody could decide until I said, you know what? I'm getting more hungry and things are not happening. So what I started doing, I said, look, listen, when I get out of church, I would say, we're all eating chicken. And they would say, Dad, I don't want chicken. Honey, I don't care. I made a decision. This is where we're at. And we got to be people to make decisions. People who are uncertain for the regular part are negative people because they don't know what they want in life. People that are certain are usually, for the most part, positive people because they know exactly where they're headed. They know exactly their purpose in life and they move in that direction. So we must understand people that are certain make changes in their lives whenever they need to for the positive. Now, let me ask you this, just the same question that I asked about attitude. How long does it take to change an attitude? An instant. Let me ask you this. How long does it take to change certainty? Well, let me tell you something. Let me put it this way. What can make an uncertain person certain? Let's find out. Let me give you this analogy here. Say you have a little house here. And around that house, you have a moat. A moat is I don't know if you ever watched the old movies where there's castles and there's ditches, there's big ditches around the castle, and sometimes they put water or tar or oil so the enemy can't just go straight in. That's a moat. Say there's a moat here, and it's about 50 yards. It's a big moat right here. And inside the moat, there's poison snakes, poison sharks, poison piranhas, poison everything in there. Okay? Now, outside this moat, there is an 8-foot fence. There's an 8-foot fence with that ribbon wire all the way around it, and it's got electricity on the fence. Now, if you and I were outside this moat, or this house, you and I were outside, and I would tell you, if you go through, around, over, under the fence, you run this and you swim across the 50 yards of the poison snakes, the piranhas, the shark, and all, and then you go right inside. Inside the bedroom of this house is a $5 bill. How many of you would do it? Not very many. Why? Because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So what we need to do is change the atmosphere here. Listen. If you would have the same fence, the same moat, the same house, you and I were outside and someone would call and say, hey, I have your child inside. You've got 20 minutes to come inside and you rescue your child. How many of you would do it? Absolutely. Everyone. Do you know why? Because now there is a meaning for your goal. The problem or the challenge we're having now is we don't put a meaning strong enough to pull us into the goal or the destiny that we need to be in. We want goals, and we put goals, and we do things, and we make decisions with no meaning. But we need to understand that when we put a meaning to something, a strong enough meaning, there is no fence, no moat, no electric charge, no anything that will stop us from getting to our goals. So we need to have meaning to our goals. When we have a strong enough meaning to our goals, it will project us, it will propel us, it will pull us to the place that we want to be. Too many people have goals, but there's no meaning to the goals. And we must have a meaning to the goals. We have to have a meaning. If we don't have a meaning, nothing's there. Nothing is important enough for us to pull or to push or to see our way through. Nothing is important for that. So we need to have a meaning. We need to have a meaning. Can I get a marker quickly? Okay. It's important to know that. Okay. Now, that's certainty. Certainty is very, very important. We have to have certainty. This is what gives us certainty. Very important. Now, let's go a little bit deeper than that. So we have attitude, we have certainty, but let's just go a little bit deeper than that. And I think this is the root of everything, of why people fail and why people succeed, why people overcome and some people don't. You've got to have a belief system. Everyone must have a belief system. And let me ask you this. Who picks your belief system? It's a simple question. You know who does? You do. You pick. You pick your belief system. Now let me break this down, and I hope you get this content, because I believe that content is king. But life-changing content is the whole courtyard. So I want you to get this. If you want to be a success in life, if you want to be an overachiever, if you want to be something that you've always dreamed of to get to your goals and to where you really want to be, you've got to pick this up. It all starts with your belief system, even before certainty and attitude. Okay, so your belief system has got to be in place. So let me break this down. The U for you pick is upbringing. Your upbringing. No one can change your upbringing. You did not choose the parents that you had. You did not choose the neighborhood that you lived in. You didn't choose the schools that you went to. It's important to know that your upbringing, it has a lot of influence on you as you're a child. You can't pick a lot of things that you grew up with. See, your upbringing, you learned from your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your uncles, your peers, your friends, your teachers, your counselors. Everything was sponged in. It was going in, and it made you a part of the person that you are right now. Your upbringing, you can't change your upbringing. But let me let you know something. Sometimes your upbringing can keep you enslaved to a place that you should not be. And we call those slaves excuses. Excuses. And we make too many excuses of why we can't do this, why we can't go back to school, why we can't go start that business, why we can't venture off into doing things. Excuses. You may say, well, you know what, Martin? I've been divorced. That's an excuse. You can still be a success. Well, I've been in jail. Well, you know what? You can start over and you can still be a success. Well, I'm a slow reader. I'm a slow learner. It doesn't matter. You can still be a success. Well, I don't have any education. You know what? You can still be a success. There is no excuse. See, a lot of people use this as a crutch. They're well, my mom didn't ever take me to school, or my dad didn't treat me well. No, that's in the past. You've got to make a decision. That's why you've got to be a person of certainty. That's why your belief system has got to be intact and strong. So your upbringing is sometimes your excuses and your crutch. Let me go a little bit further. See, the next one, the P in the U pick, is passion. You got to have a passion for something, anything. There's got to be something that bursts in your heart that no one else may understand, but only you. That's what keeps you going through a storm. That's what keeps you going through a circumstance, through your dark hour, through your midnight crisis. Passion is the thing that pulls you out and says, you know what? This is what I long to do. I don't know why. That's when you chase your dream. You've got to have a dream. You've got to have a dream. If you don't have a dream, there's no purpose, there's no life, there's no goal, there's no worthwhile fulfillment out there somewhere. And then once you have a dream, you got to have a passion enough to chase that dream with everything that you have. You got to have a passion about something. You got to have something that everyone knows, oh, that's what he does, that's what she does. You've got to have a passion like no one else. You know, the Greeks didn't write obituaries. They only asked one question of those who passed. They asked, did he have a passion for anything? And people would say, yeah, he had a passion for this or that. He said, if he had a passion, he lived. But it was a sad story when they find out that there was no passion for the person that passed. You've got to have a passion. Passion for whatever it may be. A passion for writing, a passion for speaking, a passion for helping, a passion for building, whatever it may be, a passion for educating, a passion for encouraging, whatever it may be, whatever your passion is, it's not too small. It may be too small for someone else, but for you, it's greatness. Some people say, you know, I have a passion for cooking. Great! Cook your heart out. I have a passion for taking care of kids. Fantastic! Help the next generation. But you have to have a passion. You have to. If not, you're not living. So here we go. You got upbringing, you got passion, and the next one, very important, is integrity. Integrity. It's a word we don't use very much here in our English language, modern English language, but we need to understand that integrity is very important. You know, we know the word, we've heard it, but we really don't understand it. Let me explain this to you. Integrity is an algebraic expression from algebra. And it comes from the root word integer, which means whole or complete. So this is what I mean. When two things come together and they make one, it's a whole, that's integrity. So if you're going to be a person of integrity, your words and actions need to come together. Because we got too many people promising one thing and then they don't come through. That's not a person of integrity. And if you've ever needed people of integrity, it's now. We need people of integrity in all levels of leadership, in all levels of business, in all levels of family and relationship. We need people of integrity. We need their words and their actions to be one. In other words, when you say you're going to be somewhere, be there. When you say you're going to do something, do it. If you promise something, you better come through. You know, my grandfather, before he passed, he told me, you know what, I remember when they didn't have any contracts. Now they have to sign contracts in triplicate. When back then, a handshake and the word of a man was his bond. We need people of integrity if we're going to be a success. So we have upbringing, we have passion, we have integrity. Oh, I like the next one. Character. Character. We need people of character. If you're going to be a success, you got to be a person of character. Now, character, I'll break it down very simple. Very simple. Character is who you are when no one's watching. Doing the right thing when no one is watching. Have you ever noticed, for those of you that are CEOs or bosses or managers, you walk into the office and everybody starts working. There's a lack of character there. See, we need to be people of character, doing the right thing even when no one's watching. It's important to be that person everywhere you go, whether you're at your work, your family life, church, wherever you may be. It's important to know that we need people of character. So we have upbringing, passion, integrity, character. I like this next one. This next one you're going to like. Is knowledge. Knowledge is what's going to get you to the place you need to be. Les Brown says knowledge is a new currency, and I truly do believe that. Knowledge, if you get enough knowledge, it will trump every excuse that you have in your upbringing. You may say, you know what, I don't have enough education, I'm divorced, or I've been in jail, or I'm an ex-cocaine. It doesn't matter what it is, or I grew up in the desert, I grew up in Harlem, or it doesn't matter. See, if you have enough knowledge, and then you apply it, it will trump out your upbringing. If you had a bad upbringing with all the excuses, that's what happens when you get enough knowledge. But you've got to be hungry for this. Les Brown says you've got to be hungry for these things. I'm telling you right now, this will change your life. It starts off with your belief system. Then it goes to your certainty. Then it goes to your attitude. It's important that we just can't look at people at the superficial level of just attitude. You got to go in a little bit deeper. When you see somebody with a negative attitude, it's not just their attitude, it's their belief system. Because they're uncertain, because their belief system is shaky. So we need to know this. We need to know this. When we know this, everything changes. I believe that the belief system is the root of your life, of your success. The root of your life is success, and the trunk of the tree is your certainty, and the fruit of everything is your attitude. It's important to know that. If you're going to be a success, I'll tell you, go for what you need to go to. Do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. Because if you don't follow your dream, you'll be thinking and thinking and thinking about it and thinking about it. And the more you think about it and not act on it, the sadder it gets. I'm telling you, we have too many unfulfilled people in the world. Too many people that die without fulfilling their dreams. One of those persons was my mom. She died 6 years ago, not fulfilling her dreams. And she told me, I want to do this, I want to do this, Martin, I want to do that. Well, 6 years ago, I decided in my life, I said, Mom, I'm not going to go through the motions anymore. After she passed away, I said, I'm going to go and do what I need to do. I want to go and live life to the fullest. Every single day, I want to live. Ever since then, I've skydived, I've scuba dived, I'm finishing writing my book. It's coming out later on this month. I'm so excited about that. Things are just happening. I've spoken in front of Congress here at the state. It's incredible. The doors have been opened as soon as I take a step. But you have to have a belief system. You have to be certain, and you have to have the right attitude to become a success. Remember, when you have enough knowledge and you put it in your skills. In other words, knowledge is the information, and the skill is the application. When you do these things, you also will become a success. I can't wait to see you become a success. You know, success is waiting for somebody that is bold enough to go out there and grab it. My name is Martin Seca. Thank you so much.
Hey, this is Lucinda Cross, the activator. I am the Chief Life Activator, Rock the Mic Renegade, and the Pay to Play Empowerment Partner. And what does that all mean? It just means that I'm here to help you build your platform, share your message, and just monetize and really upgrade your brand. I'm all about helping people create movements. And so today I really wanted to share how you can begin to do what matters. If we're here as change agents, as world changers, which is what this platform is all about, then we have to do what matters. For many years, I've taken the time just doing things because someone else told me to do them, and not really doing things that mattered, not really doing things that brought value, that brought purpose and meaning in my life, and nonetheless to my family life. And what that does for any individual, for anyone who is yearning for more and wanting more out of life and has these wonderful values, it's just sitting, and priorities just sitting there, that just really dulls your light. It really dims your light down. And so what I want to do by the end of this presentation is to make sure that you are shining bright, not like a diamond, but you are on fire, and you're setting the world and you're setting the stage, and your presence is just so hot that anyone who comes in contact with you there's no other option but for them to be blessed, extremely blessed by what you bring to the table. And so before I get into my story, I want to share with you Lance Armstrong. He's a champion cyclist. He had this wonderful story that he talked about. Out of all the things, and in his book, It's Not About the Bike, out of all the things that he had done and all of the accomplishments that he have achieved in his life as a cyclist, as a champion, a world champion cyclist, the thing that really hit home for him was when he heard these three words: "You have cancer." He said those words just set his blood, went from the top to the bottom, and anything and everything that he thought mattered in life no longer mattered. The words "you have cancer" for him, something so traumatic for his position and how he took care of his life and how he took care of his health, just was something that really added life to him so that he can really focus on the things that matter. So I don't want you to wait till something traumatic happens for you to understand that you bring value to the table, and maybe some of the things that you are worrying about, stressing about, you should no longer worry about. Cast your cares. Leave that to God. That's God's business. Your business right now is to do what matters. And so just like Lance Armstrong, he was able to realize that the traffic jam didn't matter any longer. The fact that he had money or didn't have any money didn't matter any longer. The fact that people liked him or didn't like him really didn't matter. The competition didn't matter anymore. Not even the next award mattered to him or winning the championship. It was all about life and how many lives can he touch and tap into while he still had breath in his body. So I'm going to ask you a very powerful question. When is the last time, what situation, what circumstance, what turning point happened in your life that really turned life on for you, that really lit the fire under your butt? And anyone who has gone through a traumatic situation, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, for me, those words were, your mother died, Lucinda. Your mother did not wake up. And that was the words that I would never even expect to hear those words ever in my life. But that added so much value to me, and it created a different meaning on how I show up and how I position and posture myself for success and opportunities, how I even position myself to collaborate and connect with other individuals. I'm not looking at people as an opportunity. I'm looking at people as a connection to be a part of this world. How can I help to change the world that I live in? God has given me a specific portion of the world to change. God has given you a specific portion of the world to change. Don't allow the small things to get in the way. Don't make the big things a big deal out of the little things. There's a song out there now, you know, stop making a big deal out of the little things. And that's what I want you to do, is stop making a big deal out of the little things and just allow yourself the freedom to do what God has called you to do. Write that book in a way that will change millions, not in a way that will reflect back into your life and maybe bring on some more pain and agony. Write in a way that will teach the next generation, because it's not about us. It's really truly about the values that we leave and the imprint, the footprint that we leave on this world when we leave. So every time you open your mouth, make sure that it's impactful. Every time you write that blog post, make sure that it's impactful. Every time you begin to create and plan that event, make sure that it's impactful. Make sure you have the people in mind. What is happening now in today's time? They're trying to create a generation and a nation of robots. You are human, and we desire that connection. We yearn for the love. We yearn to be just celebrated and not just tolerated. We yearn for acceptance. We yearn to be nurtured and that friendship. And so don't allow that to die down with all of the technology that's allowing us to really connect with people in different places and different nations. That is wonderful. But take the time out and ask yourself, am I doing what matters? Where is that turning point in my life that I may have taken for granted? Because we don't want to have another tragic situation or another trauma to enter our lives for us to have this wake-up call to say, hey, you are not operating in your greatest strength. You're not operating in your greatest power. You're busy worried about the little things. Let the little things handle themselves. You have some big things to take care of. You have some families to save. You have some women to help become financially independent. You have some college students who are looking up to you. You are powerful. So make sure everything that you do, from, like I said, the books you write, the words you speak, every time you show up, you are showing up impactful and you're doing what matters. What matters to you right now? Where is your values? Are you doing things based on your values, or are you doing things based on somebody else's expectations? If you're doing things based on your values, you're living a free life. Like Tony Robbins said, you're doing what you want, when you want, how you want, wherever you want. And it doesn't matter, because it brings you joy and it helps to impact others. But when you're doing things based on someone else's expectations, you're falling into being a robot. You're losing your authentic touch. You're losing the fact that you are cut from a different cloth. Yes, you are cut from a different cloth. And I want you to showcase the polka dots you have. I want you to showcase your checkers. I want you to showcase that cloth that you was cut from. Some of us are cut from a little rough edges. Some of us are cut from the smooth silk. Whatever you were cut from, showcase that and be who you are called to be. And so here's some things I want you to think about. I wrote down this thing called first things first. A lot of times we do the second things first and the third things first and the fourth things first. You know exactly what I'm talking about because we keep putting off what's the first things first. Let's handle the priorities. What is your priority? Focusing on your Fab Five. Is it your faith, family, friends, finance, or fitness? Faith, family, friends, finance, or fitness. First things first. Take care of the first things first and stop allowing the second things to come first, the third things to come first, but focus on the first things first. You never know when your life is really going to change forever. So you have to really seize the opportunity and make sure that your priorities are up front. And so when first things first, here's some things to think about. How are you performing? Are you performing in a space that your energy is bringing positivity? Is it bringing a can-do attitude? Are you showcasing being fearless and bold like a lion? Are you roaring? Are you still hiding behind someone, something, or a situation or circumstance? Are you allowing that to stop you from being a peak performer, from being an overachiever, from being an overcomer and victorious? All of these things will reflect how you show up personally and professionally in your business. There were things that I did not tap into as an entrepreneur when I first started out, but those things began to creep up on me. The fact that I stopped communicating with my biological father, that showed up in my business. The fact that I didn't repair the relationship with my mother really fully, that showed up in my relationship and the women that I was designated to support and to help. And so I want you to ask yourself, how am I showing up as a performer? How am I showing up as a powerful force to be reckoned with? How am I showing up as this wonderful, magnificent creation that God has created and is gifted with specific gifts, talents, skills, and abilities? How am I performing? The next one is the motivation. A lot of performers, in order to be that top performer, that impactful world changer, you have to be self-motivated. You have to encourage yourself. There's a wonderful gospel song out there, encourage yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. And even though they do pour into you, it lasts and it simmers for so long, but you have to keep the fire burning. That's why I say when you are finished listening here and to the other speakers, I want to make sure that you are on fire as an activator, as a world changer, as a change agent, as a history maker, as someone who is creating their legacy, as someone who's doing the first in their family. You're the first author. You're the first entrepreneur. You're the first millionaire. You're the first inventor. Yes, you are the first. So if you are the first, you're a top performer, and that requires you to motivate yourself. It requires you to encourage yourself. And so I look at my attitude of being a self-motivated individual, someone who encourages myself on a daily basis by reading books, listening to positive music, turning off the television, sometimes turning it on because I love a good laugh and like to see what's happening, but also just connecting on social media from a free space, not looking at every individual that I have to connect with because they may be a potential client, but looking at them because they may be a potential connection to my next opportunity, or they just may be a connection that I need because that's what I'm yearning for in my life, to grow as an individual. The last one is commitment. So I said, these three keys in terms of just really doing what matters requires you to have a positive attitude. That's number one. To have full excitement, be impactful, but really motivating. You have to be so motivational for yourself that you just wow yourself. Sometimes I gotta jump back and kiss myself. Whoa, I gotta do it because I motivate myself out of some serious funk at times. If you have ever lost someone so close to you, you know that it's so easy. A snap of a finger, you can fall into a deep sadness and everything else around you will turn black and gray. But when you can really motivate yourself, I think that's the most powerful thing to do. When I shut everything else off and I listen to Lucinda and what God is telling me, because he's constantly sending love messages all day, every day. And so the last one is commitment. Making a commitment and keeping them. making a commitment and keeping them. If you are here to do what matters most, which means that you're tapping into your values, which means that you're tapping into what really matters, what will really make a difference tomorrow, really tapping into the faith, understanding, I don't see it yet, but I know it's coming. I know it's here. It says now faith, right? Now faith. Not tomorrow faith, not yesterday's faith, not next week or next year faith, but now faith. And so when we understand that we have to have that now faith, it requires us to make a commitment to ourselves and really keep those commitments. And so ask yourself, what am I doing right now that is not honoring my commitments, that's not honoring the gifts that God has given me? Because if you don't honor yourself, why should someone else trust you with their business, trust you with their life, trust you with their children, their invention, their opportunities, open doors? See, everybody is watching the world. This is your stage. This is your life. And so how you show up and how you perform matters, because you just can't sit and watch your part of the movie. You have to watch the whole movie. A lot of us show up in life and we're just waiting for our part. Your part, when you understand that you have to watch the full movie of your life and understand that greater is the things towards the end than the beginning, then you are there to watch the full movie. I don't stop at the scene where I may have been incarcerated at 18 years old for 4.5 years. I don't stop at the fact that I became unfortunate to be a single mother with 2 kids at that time and had to pack up and leave with $3,000 in my pocket. I don't look at the fact that I spent all those years at a job that I didn't like, and not even that I didn't like, it's just that I just couldn't even take it any longer because there was no growth and people just wanted to stifle the creativity and the joy that I brought every day. You know, so I don't stop at those scenes. So sometimes we have to rewind and go back and say, where did I leave myself? Where did I leave that vision, that dream that really matters? When did I pick up somebody else's scene in the movie, in my own movie? How did I pick up somebody else's scene? How did I become the dream killer in my own dreams? How did I become my own criticizer? How did I become this fearful individual when this is your movie? Where did we pick these things up at? So our commitments matter because it allows us to stay in alignment with doing what matters for somebody else. Because we all understand, you'll hear it from many speakers, coaches, and supporters and mentors. This is not about you. So even in your movie, there's several parts that other people will play in that movie, but you have to make sure that you don't get caught up and stuck in the scene 1. A lot of us are still in scene 1. We're still in chapter 1. We haven't literally just flipped the page and realized that there's so much more to what we can do and what we can bring to the table. And so I want you to just write down, get a pen and a paper right now. And I want you to write down, what is it going to take for me to be the best this year? What is it going to take for me to be the best? And am I doing what matters most? Am I doing what matters most? Or am I just following the tribe? Am I just following the pride? Am I just okay with being in the back? Am I okay still at scene number 1, still stuck there in that abusive relationship of what he did or what she did, or how this one took your money, or how this one didn't show up, or how you didn't get support from that one? Are we still stuck in that space and constantly drift back there because it's a habit? Or do we actually take the time to grow and elevate? I need you to elevate this year. I mean, this is it. This is it. I think that this is the year, whatever you decide to do, you can accomplish and you can achieve. I believe that every single door that is for you is open right now. And all you have to do is just get out of scene 1, scene 2, or line 1, line 2, or chapter 2, and just really flip the page or walk into the next scene of your life. Understanding that you are the star of this show. Understanding that you bring tremendous value to the table. You are the brand. Anything and everything that I can brand, that I put my hands on, I'm branding. If I can brand the pancake mix that I eat, guess what? I'm branding that, because I have to leave a legacy for my family and for those who are in contact with me and for those who God has placed and strategically designed to be in my life. And so in saying that, understanding that I'm here to motivate the masses, the mass may be one, but that changes a whole generation, right? And so understanding that I'm here to, one, pay attention, be on the lookout for opportunities, make it a goal to be focused on seeing opportunities all around you all the time. There's an opportunity, I guarantee you, all around you all the time. And when one shows up, you act on it. I had to write this down, so write this down after your questions. Pay attention. Paying attention is very important. If not, you will pay you will pay to just be ignorant. So I would like for you to take this opportunity as this wonderful world changer, as this person who is doing what matters, is to pay attention. Number two, to really take your feelings and go like this. I'm not saying to swallow your feelings, hide your emotions. No, I'm not asking you to get behind the veil or put the sheets over your head. I'm saying that in order for you to, you have to have this tough skin so that you can pass and get through the valley, pull those who need to come up and out, and not be affected by what people say, whether they reject you, whether they say yes or no to you. Understand that you are walking in a season of yes, and that's all you're accepting. And so you have to take your feelings and squash them, because God will always supersede our feelings. Why? Because there's always something greater than how we feel. It's what we do that matters, not how we feel. You made me feel bad. Okay, I understand, but what are you going to do now about that feeling? And that's what's more important, because the energy is just energy in motion. That's all it is. It's just in motion, and how far you carry it out depends on you. But I want you to really take all of your feelings, specifically of fear and inadequacy, and shove them someplace else. Spin the top. You know the rest of the story. And the last one is to really go for it. When an opportunity pops into your computer, on your phone, in your lap, in your purse, at a meeting, at a conference, you know, I really want you to just go for it and grab it. A lot of us let these opportunities go. We give them to other people. There's a saying that I say, you don't discuss cheese around rats, and you don't tell the birds where your bread is. So this way, I want you to grab these opportunities for yourself and make great use of them. So grab these opportunities. It doesn't matter if you're ready or not. You'll figure it out in time. Figure it out along the way. Yeah, you may get rejected, but guess what? There's also an opportunity that you can be wildly successful if you just keep pushing forward. And if you just keep some of these opportunities for yourself to seize them, let them groom and grow, and then the fruit that come from these opportunities, you're able to share and say, come on. And that's what I do. I show up, I seize the opportunity, and I invite all my activators. Hey, you want to be a part of this? And so as I come to a close, I say, you know, really take life as if you have a pair of scissors in your hand. And why I say that is because you can walk around and you can cut what seen doesn't belong. You can cut who doesn't belong around you, who you're connected with. You can cut and leave space and room for more opportunities. It's okay to say yes. It's okay to say no, because you are just cutting and crafting and designing and living the life that you desire. And that's the life of courage. That's the life of patience. That's the life of abundance. That's the life of love. And that's the life of just activating and doing what matters. And so I would love to have you participate in this wonderful 6-week Activate Intensive. This is the last one that we'll have until the fall, because we have so many wonderful things coming up. But I want you to take the next 6 weeks with me. Take the time out and let's create some of these things that matter. Let's craft your message. Let's create products and programs that'll really tap into your audience and your niche. Let's take your niche by storm. Let's upgrade the brand that you already have, and let's turn the excellence meter up, right? Let's just take over. That's what this is about. We are taking over, putting our stake in the ground and saying, I am here. Beyonce has this wonderful song that I'll try to sing to you. That I'm kidding. But she says, I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. And when you get those words, she is saying, I did what matters most. I did what matters, and now she's still doing what matters to her. Are you doing what matters to you? And if not, if you know you're not operating at your full potential, I want you to participate in the 6-week Activate Intensive. For those who are listening today, the intensive is $697. You can participate for $550. $550, and you can make 3 payments. I want you to inbox me. Go to www.lucindacross.com and make sure that you inbox and say, I want to be a part of the next 6-week Activate Intensive. Or email assistant@lucindacross.com and say, I'm a world changer and I'm ready to take over my portion of the world and support them and live up to my full potential while having vacations, right? While creating best-selling books, right? While creating your own product lines, right? Let's do the fun things and enjoy life while we have it, because we get 86,000 seconds a day. And I want to make sure that you activate every single second you have. This is your girl, Lucinda Cross, the activator. Tweet me at Lucinda Speaks. You can find me on Facebook. Hey, I'm Googleicious. Over and out. This is your captain speaking.